T-REV, so we'll call him that as well. And he joins us now.
People get killed for other stupid choices. Standing up for the families that took a loss. This something that we find important. Rap game strong, chest up. Little homie, keep your head up. You can be whatever you want. Get rid of the fake and it will lead up. All my life I strive for greatness. I manifested my time with patience. People try to copy us, but respect is earned. It's not an obligation. I love the fam and they love me back, and that's why I always have it back. So I give a voice to those people who were never given a chance for them slimy cats. When you come here, you ain't a number to me. I really take time to read what I see. Don't forget to lock your doors, cause there's danger all up in these streets. Y'all really put life into the air that I breathe. I really am thankful for all of my peeps.
Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on this Monday. Tonight, Cowboys play, but you know, we got some true crime to get into. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Midwest, what's going on? I see Midwest in there, OCD, Eastern Girl. I want to jump into, there's some new docs that came out. I don't know really what these documents mean to the case, right? But I'll tell you what they are right now. You got three different documents that came out. Defendant's 8th supplemental request for discovery. So that's that document. Hold on, let me see what this says here. Okay, so I looked it up. So what that means is additional requests to the prosecutor for material and information that is missing or contained in list is called a supplemental request. The rules of criminal procedure dictate that supplemental discovery requests must be answered within 30 days of the date of the request. That's what that doc was about. Thank you, CB. I appreciate you. Let me add this in too so you can hear. Oh, you can hear that. There you go. Hold up.
Bing bang. Oh my God.
What's going on, Chrissy? Welcome. Chrissy in the building. What's going on, PJR? Brandy. Amanda. Hey again, Doozy. Okay, so I kind of want to lock into a few different stories. We're going to talk a little bit about the Idaho 4 on this live, Missy Bevers, Jennifer Mendes, the missing teacher. We're going to have conversations about, some stuff that's going on out there right now. I'm hip to it. Rev, that hat is so telling. Good for you. Thank you. I appreciate you. You already know what time it is. Sylvia, what's going on? Nice to see you. All the familiar faces. Hello from Michigan. Shout out to Michigan. Junior Johnson in the building. Danette, what's going on? Welcome. Hopefully I said your name right. What's going on, Lindsay? Lindsay in the building. Let me add us back up here. So first thing I want to go over is the digital activity provides wealth of evidence for Koberger prosecutors. I want to dive into this video from Nancy, and we'll excuse me, about to sneeze and cough at the same time. What's going on, Sky Blue for you? Shout out to you. Ghost Devil in the building. Allison, good afternoon, Rev Gang. Rapper, I reported this channel. Bye. Have a good day.
Get the fuck out of here.
Have a great night. We love you.
Sure, have a good night, buddy.
Mr. I'm so ready. What's going on? Reported what? I like the hat. We're in the building. Let's go. All right. Yeah, I don't care who's looking. I've had this hat for a minute. I had to get it when I seen it though. When I seen it, I had to get it, right? Mr. I'm so ready said, reported what? What's going on? Crazy P. Welcome. As you're coming in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, talk all true crime. May open the phone lines up. Some of y'all want to call in. I don't know. I haven't talked to a lot of y'all in a minute about the Idaho 4 case. I know a lot of you have a lot of thoughts on your mind, and a lot of you came here to get out those thoughts. So let's lock in. Riley, what's going on? I'm awake. Hey, T, shout out to you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. A lot of familiar faces. Riley, you've been around for a long time. Pittsburgh in the building. What's going on, Pittsburgh? Mom to 5 Kings. Shayna. Shout out to Shayna. All the beautiful familiar faces. Amy. I remember you. Mish Mom. I think I just seen a comment from you. Didn't you just comment? Tell me you didn't just comment on the community post. I got a good memory. I can remember certain things. We'll see. Bernadette, a decent crime channel. Thank God you're back again. I've been back. I was just, the weekend we was kicking with wifey. There's Nancy. Well, not Nancy, you know, but there is Nancy, the wifey. Let's dive into it.
In the prosecution of Brian Kohberger. Brian Kohberger facing trial in the murders of 4 beautiful young.
Mimi, what's going on? So, in general, like, what I'm gonna ask all of you guys, like, what cases have you been paying attention to the most? A lot of people have been talking to me about Crystal Rogers. They've been talking to me about yesterday we dove in as a group together in Discord. We dove into what was it? Christian Andriacchio. Again, we went back to Jessica Johnson. Meant to do Ellen Greenberg, but we missed that. But what cases is everybody like? What cases have you guys been following lately? Hey, everyone. A lot of people are following the war too, like the Palestine or that Palestine war that's going on. That shit that's going back and forth right now. Nick Knack, revved up. What's going on, Nick Knack? Welcome. Shar by the beach. Hey, all good to be here. DM says, yay. All my friends are all together this afternoon. Absolutely. Are there underground tunnels that lead to 1122? Now that's been a conversation. We could get into that. What's going on, Diane? Hi, Trev and everyone. Glad to see you're back on this Monday morning. Gabby, what's going on? Thank you. Welcome, though. What, you ain't been getting no notifications? We went live, what? Friday? Was it Friday? So you figure what? I ain't been live for 2 days. Chris says I don't follow anything. Nancy can't even pronounce the victims' names right. She's disrespectful as fuck, says Annette. Excuse my language. Brittany says Delphi. Delphi, that case very close to. We could dive into that one too. Libby and Abigail. They deserve all the justice in the world. And we could also dive into some of those documentaries and have conversations about them. What's going on, Mir? Welcome. So you said Delphi. So far, I've seen one say Delphi. Maya case. Crystal Rogers. So we got Crystal Rogers, Delphi. I'm seeing Crystal. All right, Bethany Frank. I see another name here. Bethany Frank. That's 3 different names. Bethany Frank. Definitely following Israel. Okay, Palestine war, following Delphi and Crystal Rogers. Okay, so Crystal Rogers following Delphi. So in the Crystal Rogers case, isn't the most up-to-date information is didn't the boyfriend, or I forget his name, who just got arrested? I'm not fully caught up on that information, by the way. I'm so glad you were bringing up Missy Bevers. Missy Bevers, that case is, I'm just like with the Idaho 4, obsessed with. Delphi, the Texas teacher. Yes, we're going to be talking about that one today too on here. Crystal Rogers. Now, a lot of you are saying Crystal Rogers. Doozy says Missy. Delphi and Bevers. And Beavers? Karen Reed. Wow, okay. So now I'm seeing a lot of different names. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. A lot of stuff needs to be covered. Her boyfriend got arrested. Crystal Rogers, yes. Dan Markell case. I have to check that one out. The Texas teacher. We're going to talk about that one today. Let's go ahead and dive into this video. We can start moving down the line.
University of Idaho students.
We're talking about different. I want to talk about a few different.
In the last hours, we are hearing reports that the 2 surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and...
It's funny, none of y'all media people talked about it until JLR posted it on Twitter, and I asked JLR about it on a live. Now all of a sudden, all the media is talking about the roommates texting each other. Don't believe me? Go back to the live where me and JLR were live together on his channel that's still up right now. You can go watch it. I specifically asked him that question, and now all of a sudden, everybody in the media is saying that the roommates were texting each other during the homicides. And it's just a fact. If you go look at it and then go look at the articles and everything that started being published afterwards, first I confirmed it with JLR on his channel. Then I came back, went live on my channel, and we talked about it a little bit more. Now, it wasn't that big of a crowd, but I think it was what, 600-700 of you in here at the time that we talked about it. And now all of a sudden it's all over media websites. Yeah, media definitely watches YouTube. Guarantee that there's a few managers or, a few News Nation people, could be Fox. They're diving around and looking for information.
Bethany Frank.
From which date is this conversation?
Were actually awake and
3 days ago.
texting each other during the murders
would like
of their roommates. I find that really hard to believe. Now,
That's
the
a
case
fact.
has been shrouded in secrecy.
Sheer luck says, or Sherlock Holmes. That's what I'm gonna call you, Sherlock. Network news moves much slower than us YouTubers.
And there's a
Fact.
reason for that.
What's going on, Brittany?
The prosecution or the defense has no duty to the world, to us,
Cavalcante.
to
Will you dive in on
anyone
that?
interested in the case, online sleuthers, legal eagles. No duty to us at all to give us the facts. However, when facts are leaked, it becomes a problem. Now, in this case,
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the victims
Hold up, Nancy. What did you just say right here?
really hard to believe. Now, the case has been
I need to
shrouded
hear what she said
in
again.
secrecy,
Yes,
and there's a reason for that.
it has been.
The
going on, Monique?
prosecution or the defense has no duty to the world, to us,
What's going on, Amberlina?
to anyone interested in the case, online sleuthers, legal eagles. No duty to us at all to give
Mhm.
us the facts. However, when facts are leaked, it
You
becomes a
said you could definitely tell that during the Cavalcante. What are you talking about? What do you mean?
problem.
Shout out to you,
Now,
Donna.
in
Nice
this
to see you.
case, I understand that
Zoe.
the victim's parents, the Gonsalves family, has said there's no truth to this at all. The leak says the information is coming from one of the grand jurors who
Now, what I want to know personally for everybody who is invested in this Idaho 4 case as much as I am, what are your thoughts? Now, I'm not saying it's true. A lot of it could be debunked, but they're saying that Steve or possibly the Gonsalves family allegedly was talking to a juror after the fact. What are your thoughts? What are your personal thoughts on that? If that was true, I'm not saying it is true, so please don't run around here and say, T-REV said this. I'm asking in general. This is what we've all heard and seen. Let me go ahead and share the stream on Twitter too while I'm here. But I'm just curious to what your thoughts would be if they were like two of the grand jurors talk to any of the families. Just put it that way. Let's not just put it off on one. That's bull. Been waiting a long time for this. Thank you, bro. Much love. Love you. You have the best channel. Peace, my bro. Thank you, Brandon. Steve G would never jeopardize this case. Never. So we think it's rumor, huh? We need to get Hannah Payne case out there. Her trial starts October 23rd. Mistress of ceremony. Send me information to my email. Hit !! email in the chat and it will pop up. Email me the deets on that case. I haven't heard much of that at all. Actually, none at all. Period. I mean, there's nothing that a grand juror from saying that they can't post duty. Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Grand jurors shouldn't be talking to anyone. Integrity seems to be lost. Yeah, it's definitely lost. Angelia says, waiting for trial. Hard to believe anything coming out. I think these are all rumors. Definitely. So that, I mean, this has been out for a while about the whole roommates texting each other thing, right? But it came out only from one person or two people that I've seen. Was JLR that I remember is the first one of the posts that I've seen. Somebody else I think said something, but I can't remember who it was. But JLR, I locked in on it and I asked him specifically. He says his source in Idaho says that that's legit, and a lot of the information he has gotten has been some legit shit. Some not, some has. If that juror is leaking info, they should be disqualified. So that would throw out pretty much the whole. Would that throw out the indictment if found to be true? Bernadette, thank you. I appreciate the support to the channel.
It says that the two survivors were awake and texting each other.
Let's run
Information
that back
is coming
again.
from one of the grand jurors who says that the two survivors were awake and texting each other during the attacks.
Lenny, I was just live 2 days ago. You know that, right? I was live Friday afternoon.
I once had a judge, Luther Alverson,
It's
one
been
of the
2
greatest
days.
trial judges that ever lived.
What's going on,
He
Miss
would
Pot?
tell the jury as they went into deliberations,
think it's
it is your duty to make all witnesses speak the truth and impugn perjury on no one. What did that mean? It's your duty to make all witnesses speak the truth and impugn perjury on no one. It's your duty, jurors, to try to make sense of what you're hearing and go into it believing everyone is telling the truth, even if they're seemingly inconsistent. So here we have a leak, which I find very sus, from a grand juror.
But I mean, you said I think it's possible knowing how he feels about BK. But and I get what you're saying. But did you watch the last 48-hour episode, which I think is the newest one, the newest documentary to come out as far as media wise on this case? He said that his mind's open for other person being, somebody else being involved or being somebody else in general. He said his mind's open to that. And I'm pretty sure Christy said the complete opposite of that. So they were like split. She thinks 100% and he has an open mind. I have to go back and rewatch it. I've already watched it a few times, but what's going on, Bam Bam? Shout out to you.
Stating that these two surviving roommates, these girls, these traumatized victims who survived, were texting about it during the murders. I find that really hard to believe. Mr. Gonsalves is saying that's absolute fiction. Could it be they were texting right before they went to bed? That's entirely possible. This will all be sorted out.
I don't know the rules on
when
that.
this case ever goes to trial. But I want to talk about something else we've learned. We have learned that the state is doubling down on Amazon orders. Amazon orders by Brian Kohberger, particularly when he ordered the knife and sheath 7 months prior to the murders. They don't just want that order or the information or the picture that Amazon presents of what you're ordering. They want it all. They want a meal kit. They want every click. Why do they want every click Kohberger made? Because, according to another expert, your clicks reveal your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions.
I totally don't.
Now, that was stated.
I totally don't believe that a grand jury mentioned that first off. Oh, yeah. By the way, we're going to play this video, but, a lot of people ask about who Todd is or who's Todd? What is Todd? Here you go right here.
This week at the University of Idaho, with the campus still reeling after the brutal murder of 4 students. Suspect Brian Kohberger remains behind bars, being held on no bail. And for the families, the next chapter in this case is just starting to sink in. Senior national correspondent Brian Inton is live in Moscow. Brian, you had a chance to speak exclusively with Kaylee Gonsalves' sister, Olivia, for the first time since the arrest was made.
Yeah, we did, Nicole. This is obviously a very emotional time for her and for her family, especially as they all prepare to go back to court again later this week. She wanted to make one point very clear, though. She says that people should be holding off judgment right now when it comes to the surviving roommate who police say saw the killer inside the house behind me.
The families of the Idaho murder victims are preparing for Brian Kohberger's next court hearing this week, as we hear from Kaylee Gonsalves' sister Olivia for the first time since Kohberger was arrested.
There's this feeling that many have shared that perhaps Kohberger was watching the interviews, was in the Facebook groups, was on Twitter. Do you get a sense that that might be the case, that he was almost watching all of this as it played out?
I do. A lot of that comes from the fact that he had visited the home so many times before, late at night, early hours. He's presented this pattern of behavior.
He's visited again, let's, what? Run that back?
I do. A lot of that comes from the fact that he had visited the home so many times before. Late at night, early hours, he's presented this pattern of behavior. He went back to the home the morning of before police had been called, I think to see if his circus, so to say, had started to unfold. And I think that he would not have been able to refrain from engaging with the online communities, the theories, the conspiracies, and everything in between.
Kaylee's sister speaking exclusively with News Nation, saying it is terrifying that true evil was watching over the college students. She's also defending surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen, who police say was awake and saw the killer, but did not call 911 for almost 8 hours.
I do know Dylan is really young, and she was probably really, really scared. And until we have any more information, I think everyone should stop passing judgments because you don't know what you would do in that situation.
The Gonsalveses are in the process of setting up a foundation to help keep Kaylee's memory alive.
What's going on,
Xana
Delphi?
Kernodle's family has set up a scholarship in her name at the University of Idaho.
Did you feel any relief, Sydney, when there was the announcement of an arrest?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, this is Todd that's in chat. Coach Todd and Sydney are very, we're close with Xana Kernodle, and I've had a couple interviews with Todd. He's been on panel a few times. Todd's a great person. Shout out to Todd and what he has going on. This is Todd.
A little bit.
And Sydney.
I still think there's a lot of answers that I would like. So until I get those, I think I still am going to be a little hung up on this. So just about the answers, I guess.
Sydney Gribnitz was Xana's child.
Thank you for the 10 months. Shout out to As One Divided We Fall. 10 months strong.
Childhood best friend. Now Sydney and her dad have started a fundraiser through their gymnastics academy in Florida to raise money for Xana's scholarship endowment.
Xana was one of our students for about 6 years, and besides that, she was also one of my daughter's best friends. So she was.
By the way, you see this right here. This is something that we've promoted on this channel and stand by 1,000%. We've already put Journey on her journey and through gymnastics and Xana Kernodle's memory. Rev Gang family has helped out a lot. Shout out to you guys for coming on here and putting this here. I'm so happy to have been a part of helping Journey continue her gymnastics career. Thank you to T-REV 757 for recommending this fund. What is it? Encouraging the future gymnastics for the Todd team. Rev Gang strong from Granny. There's a lot of people that showed love in here on this, and I'm glad that we could do something good for the community. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you guys on that.
Always at our house. Her dad was single. She would come to our house until he'd pick her up after work. So it was almost like losing another daughter. So it's been a really difficult time period for sure.
Say that again, Todd?
Xana was one of our students for about 6 years. And besides that, she was also one of my daughter's best friends. So she was always at our house. Her dad was single. She would come to our house until he'd pick her up after work. So it was almost like losing another daughter. So it's been a really difficult time period for sure.
And the fraternity Sigma Chi has also set up a scholarship for Ethan Chapin. All of these families and the victims' friends now trying to come up with ways to bring some good out of the situation.
And they did. Shout out to Coach Todd and Sydney for bringing that good and doing what they do, and his wife and family and in general. If you want to go back and look on my page in my video, if you click on videos, I do have a full, or it's actually in the live, but I do have clips where I cut up the clips of me talking to Sydney and Todd live. So I had a separate interview with Todd. Todd's in here. He's a member here. Shout out to Todd for being a part of the Rev Gang family, and Sydney, and God bless you guys. And we are going to be here until justice is served and after. Now back to where we were.
By or the picture that Amazon presents of what you're ordering, they want it all. They want a meal kit. They want every click. Why do they want every click Kohberger made?
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. I appreciate that, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the love.
Because, according to another expert, your clicks reveal
Wow.
your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. Now, that was stated by Chris McDonough of the Interview Room, former homicide detective. Your clicks reveal your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. With me, Tara Malik, high-profile lawyer, joining us out of that jurisdiction in Idaho.
What's going on,
Partner
Chris?
at Smith and Malik, and a mobile device forensic expert, Lee Reber. Now, listen to this. He's the author of Mobile Forensic Investigations. I have to have that book, Mobile Forensic Investigations. Everything you can learn about mobile forensics. We're talking about
What's going on, Alicia?
Stingray devices that cops use that just like get a huge data dump. You know, they drive through your neighborhood and they're picking up all this information on a portable Stingray device. It's amazing. Everything about your car nav system, your phone, your laptop, your Sirius XM. Yes, Sirius pitches a fit. They fight it tooth and claw, but their information about when you turn on your Sirius radio in your car, even what you're listening to, can be subpoenaed. They fight it, but they will be forced to hand it over if it exists. Between Tara and Lee, we're going to figure something out. We're going to do it right now.
Sally, they're saying that you said, when did the text messages between surviving roommates on November 23rd? November 23rd. It's November 13th. Now, I don't know about it. Yeah, so it was November 13th, and they're saying it was during the times of the homicides. Alleged rumor. Again, alleged. It's an alleged rumor that's now spread like a wildfire, and it has been out there for the last two and a half months, possibly, maybe even 3.
First of all, where should I start? Tara Malik, the click reveals your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I thought that I actually laughed when Chris McDonough said that, but he's right. McDonough was right. Your clicks reveal your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions.
Yeah, I think he's exactly right. I mean, this in particular with the Kohberger situation, I can see exactly why the prosecution wants to know what he was browsing on the internet and what he was looking for on Amazon. He ended up buying a knife on Amazon, the sheath that was found at the scene of the crime. It's that K-bar knife that's been talked about, I think, pretty exhaustively in all sorts of media and reports. We want to know what he was buying. Is he looking at dark clothing? Is he looking at face coverings? That would corroborate parts of the prosecution's theory of the case, and as well as corroborate one of the witnesses who, one of the roommates who was still alive, who saw a masked intruder coming in. So they're trying to connect the dots and figure out what all is out there, and is there information in his Amazon searches, in the products that he was browsing and looking.
And if there is, in his Amazon searches, did he have a separate account? I don't know.
At that are similar to the facts they know and they can elicit
Yeah, they definitely do.
and get out from other witnesses as well.
Tara Malik, now I know why you're a high-profile lawyer. That was a mouthful, and I mean that in a good way, and right on point. To be a great trial lawyer, you have to marshal your thoughts. And I remember when I would write appeals and when I would make arguments to the jury, I'd say, okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4 happened. Let's talk about 1. 1 is true because 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That's a very it's a very, 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 very heavy conversation, because people have all different types of opinions when it comes to Dylan should have called the police 8 hours later. How did people get on the scene? How did friends get called over and stuff like that before, police did? There's a bunch of different questions that are lingering out there. They've been lingering for it's coming on a year now. So it's, you know.
2 is true because 5, 6, 7, 8, you have to be methodical in your presentation because it can get very confusing. Okay, Lee Reber, I want to talk about the clicks. How do they see the clicks?
Do you hold Dylan Mortensen accountable? And you got to, and I feel like for us to give a fair assessment on what happened that night, we need to really hear the full story, and we haven't, right? We hear tidbits, and we hear it through the grieving family members that are going through so much grief to the point that they are just, you know, I don't know that I'm proud of Steve and what Christy and Steve can do and get out there and talk and speak, but the grief is just it's hard. It's hard, and that's where some of the, you know, I don't know, man. It's hard to speak on. It's hard to speak on because it's a grieving person. But back to what I was saying about Dylan. Do you hold her accountable if she did assume something was going on outside of that door, but froze up and her phone's it? I don't know. It's just it's a situation where people think that she should have called 911. But what if she didn't know what was going on the other side of that door? And we've spoke about it on my channel thousands of times. What if she didn't really know what was going on the other side of that door? Did see someone, did freeze up at frozen shock phase, did see someone with a mask and just thought, hey, this is somebody breaking in. Let me just hide out, and in the morning everything will be fine. I don't know. It's a very tough subject to talk about when it comes to DM. Do a poll, T. No, I don't. Yeah, we'll do a poll. I'll definitely do a poll on that because I'd like to see where the splits are on that. Do you think, and this is just we'll put it like this. Yes, no. Which, no, obviously not. Okay, I put the poll up now. All right.
Not just what
There
you
it goes.
ordered and
Thank
the
you,
date he
CKI.
ordered. We know he ordered the knife and the sheath together from Amazon.
Treats for Sosa.
Oh, and they're also
Thank you, T, for the best channel. Love for the fam and more treats for Sosa. Thank you. I appreciate that, CKI.
fighting for PayPal. Wait, not PayPal. They're fighting for Apple. Yeah, it may be PayPal.
Yeah.
They're fighting for all of his purchases and all of his clicks. I mean, Lee Reber.
What I meant by that, though, Danette, is should you hold her accountable if she thought, or even, you get what I'm saying? I don't know. There's no telling what was going through her mind. Like I said, we don't know the story, so that's why, you know, there's a bunch of different theories floating around. We don't know the real story, what was told inside of that room. I'm sure there will be police interviews where and all different types of stuff that comes up in trial that we'll hear about that went on in that detective hot box. We're definitely going to hear about it. I appreciate that, Chase. Hey, y'all. T-REV, new here. Seem cool. Just subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate that, Chase. Shout out to you. Welcome. Jackie says, we don't know what those girls went through. This case drives me crazy, but I can't let it go. Me neither.
Find out he's clicking for surveillance equipment or for, you know, downloading spy software on his colleagues' phones or their laptops. We don't know what they're finding.
Yeah, Nancy, if you think about it, Amazon, I mean, your own personal...
for a personal opinion from everybody that's in this chat, what are the percentages of her knowing if you have two of your roommates that were say you're sound sleep, right? Let's just say Dylan and Bethany were sound asleep. A guy comes in and does what he does. We know what happened in that house. We don't know if, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to know, like, did he go for the kill right away to keep him silent from screaming? We don't, we know certain things from the PCA, but not much. There's so much information that is just missing. blank. It's completely blank. Donna Wheeler says she's a visual eyewitness. I think she did amazing with that information. Bam Bam says I have mixed emotions on her. I just don't understand her behavior. Don't make sense. Eastern Girl says if you're not in that situation at that time, I don't think you can say it, to be honest. Miss Potts says both are highly involved, in my opinion, and should be charged for not reporting the crime and deaths for hours. Someone cleaned up, and it wasn't BK. Did ISP even swab the drains at King Road? Miss Potts says. Miss Potts been standing heavy with that for a while now. Zoe says I don't even want to entertain that because they are victims too. I don't hold DM accountable or BF.
Experience. You go to Amazon and you see recently viewed.
I vote wrong.
Right? It shows on the bottom the recently viewed item. You might not have purchased it, but you went and, you went to either that page, you viewed it. You might have searched for it. It might give you some that are related to that. And then, so it's not just your purchases, right? It's your browsing, really the history.
So they can see everything.
Do you believe that, or is that something that you've seen echoed around and you're just saying that, Mr. I'm so ready? You could be serious.
That you even
what's going on? What is
I mean,
true?
of course they can. Wait a minute, because when you're buying something on Amazon, and I don't mean to pick on Amazon, it's just easy. It's a good example.
For the 10 months.
They show
Just
you
Joe.
your browsing
You
history. So if they can pull up your browsing history, certainly a team of forensics experts like yourself can pull up your browsing history, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's it. Whatever you see on the screen, obviously, is going to be available digitally. If you search, if you're going to send a search warrant and it gets that, the browsing history, what was purchased. Think of, even another website, a case that I worked where they happened to purchase duct tape, a shovel, and zip ties.
Oh, wait, I just went into prosecution heaven. What? Who? What?
Right? It was on a Walmart, and it just happened to be on their phone.
Wait. Stop. Number one, slow down. Okay. The rest of us are just mere mortals, Lee Reber. Your case, what did you find?
Yeah. It was a search history on a mobile device. They used a browser. They went to Walmart.com and happened to, search for a shovel, duct tape, and zip ties.
You know how happy it just made me. And so it was a murder case, right?
It was. And it just so happened that that's what was utilized, obviously at the crime scene. But, it really comes down to everyone's habits. We all use, the internet. We all do browsing. And then now you go and you take with, say, the text messages or, within a vehicle, the infotainment centers or navigation. There's so much digital evidence. It just comes down to.
You just reminded me of something.
Yeah.
When you said nav system, you had a brilliant point about Kohberger's Elantra. You know, that white Elantra we were all looking for? Okay, wait for it. Tara Mallet, you would do a backflip if your client. The alibi that the defense attorney, Ann Taylor, and I'm not faulting her for this. I fault her for even representing him. How can you look at yourself in the face and based on what we know so far, and yes, I know he's not convicted yet, what we know so far, the evidence is incriminating. I mean, how do you stand in front of a jury and say all that is a lie? I don't know. But that said, she's put out an alibi, and the alibi is that Brian Kohberger likes to take long drives alone at night. Alone, operative word alone, Tara, because otherwise he'd have to pull up a witness, goes, yeah, we go on long drives at night. So there's no witness. That's convenient, Tara, isn't it?
Oh, so convenient. Really, really convenient. I mean, I think
and it has to be late at night, Tara Malik, because if it were during business hours, then, he might stop at a 7-Eleven or a Crystal and get a hamburger.
Right.
No, it's got to be in the early morning hours where everything's closed. So conveniently, there are no witnesses.
Yeah, I think, as far as alibis go, that may be the weakest one I've ever heard. It's an alibi. generally you'll see it in situations where it's like this person was over, at a family party. Here are the 10 witnesses that can testify that he was over at this family party. Not, his alibi is here. His alibi corroborates part of the state's theory of the case, which is Kohberger was on the move. Now he's not going to say he was on the move towards the house to commit these crimes, but you're corroborating the part where it's, yes, he was driving around in a car around town. I mean, it's not like he was unavailable doing something else.
Yeah, I would say there's a witness. The witness is the nav system. That is going to be utilized to show that type of.
We covered that worst alibi ever. I'm pretty sure it was a thumbnail I used on that. Worst alibi ever. He likes to go on long. I forgot how it was worded. Long something drives. I'm like, what?
That type of travel.
I want to talk about not only the nav system, but the searches, why the clicks are so important. But on the nav system, Lee Reber, you gave me a very interesting and
if you guys do want to chime in for the moment while we're watching videos, you can. 219-885-9693. You got 3 minutes, I think, on the voicemail. Lee, what's your thoughts and opinion on Dylan? What's your thoughts and opinion on whatever's bothering you the most on this case? Be heard. Again, while we're watching these videos, if you do want to tune in and hit a voicemail, 219-885-9693. If you do want me to call you, email me, or I'll open the lines that you can call in.
Probative. In other words, it proves something fact. You stated that that you knew for a fact the 2000 Elantra, all the way back to 2011, has the nav system, navigation system. Why do I care?
Yeah, I think it's important because we all have, or if you've utilized a navigational system within a car, right? You put a starting point, end point. However, if you don't do that, you ever watched your car just driving along? You haven't put anything in there. Well, it's actually tracking that.
See, that's another thing too. Have they ever found out who was skinning? Excuse me, who was skinning animals around there? Who was doing that?
Actually, can show where you've stopped. It has the computer that's within those cars can show the speed that you've been traveling. So to be honest, if he doesn't even have his phone, right? Supposedly, he turned his phone off, which is again quite odd. But now you're not able to go and turn that off within the tracking system within the vehicle.
Definitely.
So I think it's incredible evidence if they have pulled that data from those vehicles.
The nav system shows everywhere you go, everywhere you stop, but it also shows, as we learned in the prosecution of Alex Murdaugh, it shows when you open your door, your car door, when you put the car in park, when you.
I'm just saying they never found out who skinned the animals. Buddy was skinned, and then I heard something about, I don't know if it's true, but I heard something about foxes, or I forget what it was, or squirrels being skinned in the area. But it was a certain story that was coming out of Idaho at the time. And when I was being told there was pranks going on, I'm not saying that those animals were skinned, but somebody said that there was pranks going on out there with was it dead? I can't remember if it was dead squirrels or raccoons or exactly what it was, but I'm sure a lot of you will remember what I'm talking about. Rabbit, Buddy. Okay, rabbit. Yeah, rabbits, Buddy, and coyotes. Okay, coyotes. I thought it was raccoons. I don't know where I got raccoons from, but I do remember that being told.
You put the car in drive, because remember, guys, when the state was putting up the navigational system investigation work product, the state broke it down. Creighton Waters broke it down minute by minute. Okay, he says he was here, he left, he went to his mother, and then the murders occurred. Waters broke down minute by minute. He integrated the cell phone activity between Murdaugh's phone, wife Maggie's phone, son Paul's phone. He integrated that with the nav system from, I believe it was a Suburban belonging to Alex.
Welcome, Richard. Tammy, I see you. Yep, too much of a coincidence. Social Butterfly says bunnies, coyotes, and Buddy, they were all skinned and mutilated. It's just, who's out there doing that? I don't know. Serial killer in the making, or, you know, I don't know. That's the vibes I get from it, right? Started animals and then go to a human. Isn't that where that's the pattern I've seen in different documentaries. Jackass got flung out frat because he got flung out of, because of are you saying because of the prank? Yep, on the porch, T says Adrian Howley.
Murdoch. It showed when he got to the car, opened the door and got in, how long he sat there. When he cranked the car up, when he put it in drive, when he took off, it showed where he went and the speed at which he traveled. When he got to his mother's house, when he put it in park, when he got out of the car, when he went supposedly in, how long it was before he came back out. When he put the car in drive and went back to the hunting lodge at Moselle, when he got out of the car and quotey, air quotey, found the dead bodies. It's amazing, Lee Reber. Tell it to me like that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you that in a vehicle, the telemetry, like you said, car doors open, how long they've been open, windows down, everything is recorded. Our vehicles are computers.
Hold up. Now that they're talking about vehicles and computers and stuff like that, who specifically remembers when Regina, and you guys know a lot of you will know who Regina is, some of you won't. She's a mod here, Regina. She actually pulled up the information on his vehicle, and I think it records up to, I can't remember the exact number. I want to say 300. What is it? 300 key turn. I forget exactly what it was, but 300 starts or something like that. And on his model, that was his specific model. I'd have to go back to the live, but it was actually really good information. Regina, if you're in here, drop that bombshell in chat again, because I forget all the information. I have to go back and refresh on it. But it was something up to 700 miles or 700 hours. I'm sorry. I can't remember exactly what it was. I need to go back and actually find that.
He said windows down because many would argue,
Happy
including
welcome.
me, that the windows went down and Maggie Murdoch's cell phone was thrown out. Coincidentally, at the time and the location that window was rolled down. It's amazing, right?
It's okay, Carolina.
Right. Yeah. Now, couple the fact that you have searches for a particular item. These items were located at the scene. You think about DNA always being utilized, but quite honestly, I mean, the digital evidence that is available is tremendous, and I think that is really what should be, and I hope is utilized within for this case.
So what we know is the state, Tara Malik, is demanding from Amazon, it was PayPal, and Apple. So he must do Apple Pay. Every single transaction, every click, everything. And frankly, he can't complain about it at trial because he doesn't have standing. He cannot ask for any or all of that information, that electronic digital footprint information. He cannot ask for it to be suppressed. In other words, I say, oh, you broke down my door and you searched my house without a warrant. Well, I have, legal term, standing, because it's my house and my privacy under the Fourth Amendment that you violated, cops. But here, they're getting the information from Amazon, Apple, and PayPal. That he doesn't have standing.
Miss Potts again. Miss Potts is I like Miss Potts is in here with the rebuttals. I'd say Miss Potts would be like that, that member that is like defense side. I like that. I like having open-minded, different angles, because we got people that lean more on the prosecutor side. Maybe some of you get what I'm saying right now, and some of you may not. And then you got some people that lean more on the defense, that just question every single thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's what brings fairness in our justice system, is questioning everything. So that is a good thing, in my opinion. Without that, a lot of, faulty shit would happen.
Right, exactly right. Not only does he not have standing to contest it, but really he doesn't have any expectation of privacy. I mean, he has opened the door by utilizing those different devices, by utilizing Apple, by utilizing, Amazon. I mean, all of that, he is disclosing information that is routinely gathered by third-party applications everywhere. You can't claim that you have some sort of expectation of privacy to that information when you've already disclosed it to another business. So, he's going to have a really hard time. Now, one of the arguments he could try and make is that, it doesn't fall within the scope of discovery, which, the scope of discovery is anything that could be relevant, that could lead to evidence that would be admissible, at trial. And that might be an argument that he could try and go down, but I think that's really far-fetched too, because this is clearly information that could be relevant and could be admissible at trial. I don't see how it wouldn't be. Not only is it showing us what he's thinking at the time, but it could be helpful to showing what his motive was, what his plan was, what his strategy on how to commit these crimes was. So, I really think that there's no position that he can take here. Like,
that's what I was thinking too, Delana, is that the defense said he, was like taking long drives because he's all over those cameras. I think that's a great point that you made. He's not only did they say he was on 5 cameras in what was it, WSU, but there's no telling all the different cameras within that, just the neighborhood right there, rain cams and different. Not all rain cams are recording at all times, but we've seen how clear that picture is on the one that's on the corner, where allegedly, they got some information out of it.
You said, to prevent the state from going after and obtaining
You hear the
evidence
whimper.
on any of those grounds at all.
What's going on, Peyton? Welcome.
So that's coming into evidence. Just an example of why I'm so interested in all of his clicks. How do I know what videos he downloaded? We all remember the case of the beautiful young mom, Anna Walsh. Her husband said she caught a flight for work on New Year's morning. Okay. Well, there was no record of her ever catching a flight at the airport. She seemingly vanished into thin air.
Now, again, there is 3 different, the new docs that came out on the 12th. Those are the newest docs. Defendant's 8th supplemental request for discovery was filed, and then you have stipulated motion to file exhibit in order to file defendant's exhibit. They're all 3 on the same day. Make sure. I'm just making sure that's
what do
right
his
there.
Google searches reveal? Hold on, wait for it. Quote, how long before a body starts to smell?
Again, thank you, Carolina.
Here's another one. Hacksaw, best tool to dismember. Here's another one for you to just think about tonight as you fall asleep. 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. Like what? There's a dead body you don't need to get rid of? 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you...
Hold on, I see some stuff here. Hold on, let's go here. All right, here we go.
Hey, T-REV, this is Pittsburgh. I was just calling because I wanted to just put this out there. They say Dylan has been around a lot of domestic abuse and so forth and so on. I honestly think that she just thought that Xana and Ethan were in a fight of sorts, not physical beatdowns or anything, because they know him, but they thought it was just an argument. I don't see why everyone's so up in a twist. If they were in an argument and they heard it, and then they thought they heard an argument, and then it went quiet. So, okay, they got over it and moved on. So they didn't think nothing of it until the next morning. And then they started calling friends, mostly because they weren't able to get in her room, but they thought as an afterthought maybe something had happened. But I honestly just think that they thought it was a domestic between Xana and Ethan, and it wasn't going to be that bad. When they got up in the morning and saw, oh, we can't get in the room or whatever, okay, well, let's call some friends because, our friends were in a fight and we'd like to do this without the police. And then that's when they discovered the bodies.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to leave that message. Bye-bye.
Appreciate
It's
you.
good seeing you back, though. All right.
Appreciate you, Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh for calling in. Yeah, it is. Good points, though. Thought it was the domestic between Xana and Ethan. Some good points in there. Said, I don't think the bang bong moment in this. Shout out to Pittsburgh for calling in. Thank you, Peyton. Again, thank you, Peyton. I appreciate it. Yeah, Miss Pittsburgh's voice. Missed it. Ain't no doubt. Miss Potts is one of my favorites. I like what she says, says Shayna. There's, like I said, there's a lot of people with different minds out there. Different minds. Yes, caller, I think so too. She likely thought E and X had a fight and it was none of her business. Van Paul says domestic abuse was from her violent father, Brent. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Violent father, Brent. Domestic abuse was from her violent father, Brent. You talking about Dylan? Are you talking about Dylan? No, sorry, I disagree. If they heard someone say, I think someone is here, they heard a bloodbath going on. I'm sure that wasn't silent. I mean, these roommates, you just wait till trial comes. It's going to be, I just hope it's not like the Vallow case where, I don't know. I just hope we get to see it on law, law and crime. Todd says, as she was starting to come out of frozen shock, she's still too scared to go out and calls boyfriend speculation. If he planned on killing 4 people, why would he take a knife and not a gun? There is so much bulls. Well, Chase, there was a gun found in his vehicle. Now, did he have that gun with him when he went there? We don't know that. Allegedly. He's not convicted yet. So, innocent until proven guilty. He's not convicted. I think it's him. That's why I said it like that. Personally, I think it's him. A lot of us have different opinions, and I respect it. Again, he said if he planned on killing 4 people, why would he take a knife and not a gun? There is so much bullshit. The detective screwed up. It's almost impossible to stay silent and kill 4 people with a K-bar knife. What if but Chase, think about it like this. What if he's hitting them in kill spots? Right? But then again, if you go back and watch the documentaries that I made rediving into the pressers of this case, you'll see that early on in the case, they mention it several times. This was a targeted attack. So he knew who he was going for. Or whoever done this knew who they were going for because it was a targeted attack. They mentioned it so many different times. You go back and watch the documentary that I made on just the pressers and what the coroner said alone, and you'll hear that. You'll hear them keep saying that. And then they bring up defense wounds. There's defense wounds. So clearly, somebody had a chance to try to defend themselves. So right there it can, prove that you didn't go for a kill shot right at that point because they had time to defend themselves. Excuse me. Steve G said himself, a battle took place on the 2nd floor. No way the survivors didn't know what was happening, in my opinion, says Miss Potts. Monarch says yes. JLR had a video about Dylan's dad's charges. Okay, so I get, okay, that's where that's coming from. I swear I've seen a lot of the videos on JLR that he covered with, from the Demetrius to all the different videos that he made on the case. He went to the, what was it? The Jack in the Box, right? JLR went to the Jack in the Box. He's done very good coverage on this case and has been local in that town and got boots to ground, which was some great visuals. Exactly, Miss Potts. I see Chris says Dylan's father has domestic violence charges that could have affected how she responded. No comment. I hope those 2 roommates will be okay. This is too much for anyone to have deal with. I won't comment on that because I just don't know the situation to comment on that. Right? I don't know what happened in her life of growing up. I'm sure we'll hear somewhat about different things on that stand, though, at trial. Targeted indeed. Chase, I don't think too could be quick, especially the way they were caught by surprise. Let me pull this up for you guys too. Where is it at? Over here. See if I can pull it back up here. And I have it right here. Targeted indeed. I mean, they mentioned it over and over. Like I said on the documentary, I made 2 documentaries, one on the timeline, and then I did a little documentary on docu-series, a small docu-series on just deep diving into what they were saying at these pressers early on. I thought it was very important to go back after everything is collected, and now we're at this point. If you go back, you will honestly pick up on more details from the police on what they're saying. Because they're holding a lot to the vest, but they're also giving a little bit out. With it being targeted, there's no threat to the community, but then they went back and they switched that statement, but still they were adamant that this was targeted. And the way that they said it first is that this was a targeted attack. We believe no one else is in danger, meaning that, again, that person was targeted and we wanted to take them out. Crazy.
You really need to. Okay, let's let that just sink in. How long till a dead body starts to smell? That's why I want to know his Google searches. So how difficult is it, Lee Reber? Of course, everybody tries to delete. I have texts that are like 5 years old still. Lee Reber, how difficult is it to really delete something? I mean, can you delete things like that? How long does it take for a dead body to begin to smell? I mean, if you hit delete, doesn't it just go in the delete file?
Who's in the picture?
Yeah, I mean, if you have their computer, obviously you can have the searches and you'll be able to locate the searches on the computer relatively easy. If you don't have
what they're doing is they're talking about other cases. I'm about to turn this one off because I think we've heard everything we need to hear on this one. This is the one I want to put on. Kohberger's defense accused FBI of witness tampering. That's what I wanted to put on before we go in and talk about this suspected killer. Now it says that Kohberger's defense accused FBI witness of tampering. So I wanted to see this because I definitely didn't see this. Maybe you have.
The suspected killer. But since then, like, motions have been filed, things have been sealed, and one side is fighting to keep any sort of electronic reporting, television cameras out of the courtroom.
4 University of Idaho students, but many of the details.
Now I was wondering where we started at.
It is the highest profile true crime case in the nation.
6 months.
November 13th, 2022.
6 months.
The brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students. But many of the details and legal filings are sealed and hidden from the public. And now that the case has been brought into a public courtroom, information.
That's the biggest uproar that you guys have. When I go and look at the emails, like, man, if they just opened up this gag order, a lot of people would lay back and chill. They would know the details. That's the number one complaint, is the gag order.
About exactly what happened has become less public. The accused mass murderer denies being involved and claims to have an alibi. He also claims the grand jury process was unfair and the prosecutor committed misconduct. But that's all we know. The details of those allegations, like so much of this case, have been shielded from the community. The same community that was put into a state of complete shock and fear after the murders happened. The same community that pulled together to find leads.
Yeah, breaking news. 4 inmates do escape. 4 inmates escape from Georgia jail, jump into Dodge Challenger getaway car, deputies say. So 2 hours ago, breaking news. Breaking news coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. 4 inmates escaped from Georgia jail. Thank you for letting me know that. This just happened recently. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's take a quick look at it. It looks like there's going to be a manhunt going on. Now it says 4 inmates escaped from Georgia jail, jump into Dodge Challenger getaway car, deputies say. Now it goes, law enforcement in Georgia are searching for 4 inmates who escaped from the Bibb County Detention Center. Deputies said the 4 inmates left the jail through a damaged window in a common space area and a cut fence on Monday morning at around 3 a.m. On Monday, a blue Dodge Challenger pulled up to the jail and helped the inmates escape from the property. Now it also says the sheriff's office identified the inmates as 52-year-old Joey Foreigner, who was being held in jail for murder. Foreigner is a white man with blue eyes and gray hair. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. Another one, 24-year-old Mark Carey Anderson, who was being held in jail for aggravated assault. Anderson is a black man with dreads. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. 37-year-old Jonathan. I hope that's how it says, because it's exactly what I'm reading. Jonathan. It says Jonathan Denard Barnwell, who was being held for the United States Marshals. Barnwell is a black man with braids. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. They're all around the same height. 29-year-old Chavis Demario Stokes, who was being detained for possession of a firearm and drug trafficking. Stokes is a black man with black hair. He stands 5 feet 5 inches tall. Several law enforcement agencies, including the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, the Southeast Regional Fugitive Task Force, FBI, and United States Marshal's Office, are currently looking for the inmates. Anyone with information in reference to the location of the inmates or the vehicle is asked to contact the Bibb County Sheriff's Office at 478-751-7500. Again, it's 478-751-7500. Now, and it also says, or you can contact Macon Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-877-68-CRIME. Again, 1-877-68-CRIME. If you guys see anything like that, or you're in Georgia, you see a Challenger, you didn't know there was anybody that escaped prison, make sure you tune in for that, because there's one of the guys was charged with murder. Now, I'm not saying that he did it, but he is being held in jail for murder and is now escaped. He's out on the run. It's been almost 3 hours, it says now. So those inmates are out there. It's been 3 hours. They're in a Dodge Challenger pulled up. That's crazy at 3 a.m. I'm telling you, man, more people are coming up with these MacGyver ways to escape prison. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's never going to stop either. They could be at my place by now then, Scary, not too far from Atlanta. Hope they are caught soon. We got to be careful. Check out the prison they escaped from. I'm going to pull this over here real quick for you guys now, just so you can see. Thank you for letting me know in chat. I don't know I forget the name, but shout out to you for letting me know that. I didn't see that. Here it is right here. Let's pull it up on our main screen. Get a look at it here. Let's jump in here. Now here we got 4 inmates escape. These are the guys right here. There's some faces. You can have faces with it now. Now you can see. And I guess that's the picture of the Challenger right there. Can we save this image? Let's see if we can save this image real quick and open it up. See, it won't open. But yeah. Crazy. Pretty wild. Short Man Squad has escaped. Now I'm going to go look real quick. Hold up. Let me go to Flight Tracker. Check over in that area right now in Georgia and see if there's any choppers in the sky. I'm looking right now. I can see Virginia Beach. Just go past there. South Carolina, Georgia. Oh, yeah. They got choppers in the sky out there. 1, 2. Nothing major. Nothing major. Nothing major. I had to take a look real quick. All right, back to we'll report. I'm going to follow more on this story. We'll see what's going on as it heats up. If it heats up, we may be on a full-blown manhunt again. If they get a perimeter set up and we have some boots on ground out there, you already know we're headquartering up. So we'll keep a very close eye on this. Again, breaking news: 4 inmates escaped a Georgia jail. I'm guessing it was just a regular jail. Bibb County. I want to say it's just the Bibb County jail. It doesn't even sound like prison. It's not a prison. So it's Bibb County Detention Center. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bibb County Detention Center, right? Here's Bibb County Detention Center, images of it. Anyways, this is what it looks like. There's your Bibb County Detention Center. No, that's not what we want to look at, but that's where it is right there. That's what it looks like. Who knows how they got out? It did say here, it said deputies said the 4 inmates left the jail through a damaged window in a common space area and cut a fence on Monday morning. So they had cut a fence. How the hell did they cut a fence? They have bolt cutters at this jail and they got a hold of these bolt cutters? Like, that's crazy shit. They said, again, the 4 inmates left the jail through a damaged window. So you got a damaged window near inmates? And you're letting inmates in this area of this damaged window? The hell is going on out here? Said, oh Lord, take care, Chase. Yeah, shout out to Chase. I don't know which jail. I already pulled it up. It was the yo, what's going on? Let's see, Georgia inmates escape. Oh shit. It's not even on, like there's no coverage on it. You know that, right? There's no coverage on this right now. Nobody's covering the 4 inmate. We'll see how it heats up. We'll see how it heats up.
And share information with investigators to help catch an alleged killer. So now the question is, will the public get to see and hear what happens in the public courtroom during this public trial? Tonight, we assess the state of this case, the state of the evidence, and the state of the victims' families who have suffered more than anyone through all of this as we investigate the Idaho student's murder case and trial.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. It's a huge case. It's the biggest case that we have. But I want everyone to understand as we begin this hour tonight that our courtrooms are public. Okay? You, me, anyone. You can go down to your local courthouse, federal courthouse.
Hold up.
We're going to begin this midday with breaking news. Right now, Bibb County deputies are looking for 4 men who escaped from the jail about 9 hours ago. One of those men is an accused murderer. Here's a live look right now at the jail. Not a lot happening right now because, as you can imagine, those deputies are out trying to find those 4 men. Within the past hour, the sheriff's office released some information on the escape. They say the 4 escaped through a damaged day room window and a cut fence. So take a look at this photo. It is the blue Dodge Challenger, the sheriff says, pulled up outside the jail and drove the men away. Be on the lookout for this vehicle. And here are the 4 escapees. Take a good look at your screen right now. They are 52-year-old Joey Fournier. He is accused of killing his girlfriend in the Barrington Hall neighborhood in 2022. You might remember. Mark Carey Anderson, accused of aggravated assault. Jonathan Denard Barnwell is being held for the U.S. Marshal Service.
I told you, Jonathan. I told you.
And Chavis Demario Stokes held for firearm possession and drug trafficking. Now, the sheriff's office has notified jail neighbors about this escape. For example, Mount DeSales Academy, about a half mile, went on lockdown this morning. That's when we first heard about this. Anyone with any information on the
So right there, you could see. I mean, look at that. This looks like where they actually cut the fence at? That's pretty crazy. And then you got this guy right here. This is actually a very dangerous situation. This guy was arrested for murder also, like Calvaconte. This makes this situation, and that's the same thing that was going on. I don't know if that Christopher Haynes dude has been caught. I actually do need to go back and look at that. There's been another murder escapee out of DC, Christopher Haynes. I was going to cover it, but then my stuff came up with my meme. I forget exactly, but this guy, Joey, far left, white guy, blue eyes, is in there locked up for murder. He's now on the run. He's on the run. So you need to be careful.
For the U.S. Marshal Service, and Chavis Demario Stokes held for firearm possession and drug trafficking. Now, the sheriff's office has notified jail neighbors about this escape. For example, Mount DeSales Academy, about a half-mile, went on lockdown this morning. That's when we first heard about this. Anyone with any information on the 4 inmates can call Macon Regional Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-877-68-CRIME. Again, that number is 1-877-68-CRIME. Well, Bibb County schools are now on lockdown.
You said that fence. You said that fence looks very secure. Hold on, I'm gonna go back up here to this. So let's look back at this fence here. So what could you find in jail? What could you find in jail to cut this fence open? Anybody have any idea? I had my mom watching Tea with Cavalcante. This pickle. I'm serious though. What in jail? And I think this is a county jail. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a prison. It says detention center though. But what could they cut this friggin' fence open with? A guard? So you take a guard? Hold up. Do you think that the car, that same vehicle that went out there, maybe dropped some cutters right there? If you're gonna be bold to pick somebody up in a Chrysler or whatever vehicle that was to pick up 4 prisoners, you got a pair of balls on you. I am sorry, but whoever was in that driver's seat, balls of steel, because you're about to be screwed. Balls of steel for what you did. Picked up 4 inmates. That is crazy. That's actually crazy if you think about it. Like, you literally just you picked up one guy who had the murder charge. Look at that hole right there. What are you cutting this with in jail? Like, what tools are you getting besides outside help? People said a guard. I can understand a guard possibly helping. Definitely guards are known for bringing in cell phones and all different types of shit. Cigarettes, weed, anything from the streets. Guards will bring it in. CEOs will bring it in. Or COs will bring it in.
Academy.
Look at
About
that.
a half-mile went on lockdown this morning. That's when we first heard about this. Anyone with any information on the 4 inmates can call Macon Regional Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-877-68-CRIME. Again, that number is 1-877-68-CRIME. Well, Bibb County schools are now on lockdown right now as a precaution. School leaders, I should say, sent a notification to parents letting them know about the escapees, but also saying instruction continues as normal inside the building. There is no reason to assume schools are at danger, but precautions are being taken to ensure safety, end quote. We're going to stay on top of this. Anthony Montalto is going to have more on this coming up in our later newscast, and you can stay with 13 WMAZ for the latest.
That's some wild shit. That's some wild stuff. I'm actually looking at the Bibb County. I don't know why it took me here, but the fact that this guy literally is wanted for murder, like Cavalcante. Yeah.
Regular state court.
We're gonna keep a close eye on
and
that.
walk into courtrooms and see what's happening. I mean, they're ours. They belong to us. They don't belong to the judge. They don't belong to a prosecutor. They don't belong to the lawyers. They don't belong to the sheriff. They belong to us, we the people. It's our government. It's a branch of government. It's ours. It belongs to us. Now, one of the reasons that Court TV is able to get cameras inside courtrooms because many states believe, like I do, that courtrooms are public, but not everyone can get down there. Some people have jobs. Some people.
And the breaking news too coming out of Delphi, Indiana. I cover that case closely and always keep it close to my heart. I've been following it from the start since Nancy Grace. They're saying that in the Delphi case of Libby and Abigail, that the Indiana State Police reportedly investigating evidence leak in Delphi murder case. It says an investigation by the Murder Sheet podcast, certain elements of which have been confirmed by Fox 59, indicates an alleged leak of sensitive crime scene evidence by Richard Allen's defense team that could derail the early 2024 trial of the man accused of killing 2 young girls in Delphi nearly 7 years ago. This past Thursday, Special Judge Fran Gohl of Allen County issued an order for a hearing on October 19th in her Fort Wayne courtroom to discuss the upcoming hearing on October 31st, 2023, and other matters which have recently arisen. Now, those other matters most likely include the revelation that a handful of Delphi crime scene evidence items have been circulated among the social media community that has focused on the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German near the Munnin High Bridge on February 13th, 2017. And it was a year ago that Richard Allen was arrested and charged with those killings. Allen's attorneys, Andrew Baldwin of Franklin and Bradley Rosie of Logansport, first earned the ire of Judge Gohl last December when, just weeks after their appointments, the team released a 3-page press release blasting the case against their client. In response, Judge Gohl issued a gag order on all parties, assuring that Allen's guilt or innocence would be debated in a Carroll County courtroom and not in the media. Now it says, then this past spring, a leak of discovery evidence popped up on social media. And Allen's attorney took responsibility for the mistake, resulting in an admonition from the court to more carefully guard the state's discovery documents. September was marked by a flurry of defense filings claiming the state had withheld evidence and misled the original judge in seeking a search warrant for Allen's home while trotting out a theory that cultists could have committed the murders. Those filings drew a sharp rebuke from Carroll County prosecutor Nicholas McLeland, who decorated what he referred to as a sensationalistic and unsubstantiated claims. Even as an investigator, were forced to retrace their steps, conduct follow-up interviews with sources, and comply with massive discovery demands. Now it appears that over the last month, social media discussions have centered around what would seem to be specific inside knowledge of the defense team's strategy and evidence, as well as claims that certain crime scene evidence had been acquired, though not published. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. So they're claiming that there's leaks of information that got to social media. How does that even happen? In a case. So in the Delphi case, they're saying that information was leaked. How does that even happen in such a high? It doesn't even matter what case it is. No information should ever be leaked to public. I'm sorry. Especially if there's an order that says it shouldn't be. Absolutely insane. Who follows the Delphi? I've seen a bunch of people saying they follow Delphi case. I also heard the assistant on the team that supposedly leaked the information unalived himself. He had a wife and a small child. What? Are you serious?
Oh my God.
Leaked by the defense, which is crazy. Leaked by the defense is insane. It got put out to get him off. You said it got put out there. So you think it got put out to get him off? Delana says you have leak. Suspicious timing. I don't know. I was just looking at different things. I seen breaking news on the Delphi case, and I figured I would take a look at the article and give it a read. Now I'm looking back at this. Let's see. So claim they leaked information has gotten out into the public. I remember when the new paperwork came out, it was like 143 pages or something like that. I looked through it the other day and it was mad insane. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys an update. So update on that. If you just came in, we are watching a video on Brian Koberger case. Koberger's defense accused FBI of witness tampering. I'm watching that video specifically, but I was looking at some breaking news. There's 4 inmates out of Georgia that escaped. And then you got some breaking news coming out of Delphi saying that information was leaked. I seen somebody in chat talking about somebody unalived himself. I don't know if they were talking about the person who had leaked this information or I read that wrong, but I'll speculate it wasn't suicide. Someone that used to work for the defense. Guy committed S. Been watching since the beginning. Delphi. He was a pharmacist or worked at a pharmacy. Didn't he work at CVS, right? Then he helped hand out pictures. He ended up handing out pictures to the grandma. I forget exactly what it was, but I know that they had an interaction at this pharmacy that he worked at. I think it was CVS. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat, but I do know that they did come. Allegedly, he printed out some, flyers. Did you hear the same thing? I heard and read the same thing. Again, I'm just keeping you caught up. There was some breaking news that came through while we were sitting here on 4 escaped prisoners, one being a murderer. That's the one we are most worried about. What will these, escaped, not prisoners, I guess they're in a county jail. It was from a Bibb County Detention Center. I believe it was Bibb County Detention Center. It's in Georgia. Again, 4 escaped inmates. They had help. They were picked up by Blue Chrysler. The Blue Chrysler is on your screen right now if you're just coming in. They cut a hole in this fence somewhere, and they went into that vehicle, and they got away. Now, this person, I don't know who the hell this is, but they picked up a murderer and 3 other guys. So they're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble when they find out who this is. They're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. Yes, printed their pics. That's what I thought. I thought he printed his pics. It's a Dodge, dude. Yeah, Dodge. Trev, so happy to see you, and I am very sorry to hear about your gram. Love you. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's nice to see you too, Terry. Dee says, hi, Trev and gang. Love to all. What's going on, Dee? Nice to see you. He paid for the pictures he developed for their funerals. Yes. See, I knew it was something like that. Thank you for having the correct information for me. Hello, everyone. Was in a meeting, but glad to be here with the Rev Gang family now. Thank you, Jersey Junebug in the building. So much information, like so much going on right now in the true crime community, and there always is. There's always evil going on, but there is a lot going on. You got all these different inmates escaping custody. Like they're already behind the walls and they're escaping, climbing up walls, crab walking backwards, getting through gates and bolt cutters and getting picked up in whatever Dodges and Chryslers or whatever. Right? It's what are we living in right now? Like, what the fuck is going on? I thought our security beefed up. It looks like we went down. Seems like we don't have enough security, or maybe people are just getting smarter and like, here, I have a chance to break out at this time, so I'm just going to do this. Maybe they've been plotting it for a long time. Like the fucking Exorcist, excuse my language. I'm serious, though. It's crazy. The other Aaron, very, very creepy. Powers to the Travs. What's going on, Trav? Cindy, the end of the day, you said the end days is what it's sounding like. You really think we're at the end of days? I don't know. There's this Middle East stuff going on. Who's all been watching and keeping an eye on the war that's going on? It does, Trav. Bureaucrats steal the money for the infrastructure, big dog. We need to be our own security, never rely on the government to keep you safe. Condolences to your grandma as well. Lost mine in June. Dementia. Yep, same. Thank you. I appreciate that. God bless you. We're living in the meta world. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And then you got a lot of this stuff. We're finding out a lot of shit like It's not even finding out. This stuff's been going on for a long time, but there's just so much. There's so many people out here. They get information and they put it out, no matter what. Here, let me tell you a secret. Be quiet. And then it goes to one person. Then that story changes a little bit, but there's some truth in it. And you hear these rumors. It's getting crazy how fast news travels right now. Like literally, when we were on the last manhunt, which was with the juveniles, a woman that lived right in the house where one of them got arrested right by there literally emailed me and sent me pictures of it, which was crazy. Can't speak for all places, but they arrested over 300 prison guards in Georgia alone for all kinds of things. Short-staffed. Yes, agree. My God, you lost your grandma. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Mima, she passed away. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. It was it was tougher on me than I thought it was going to be, but it's all right. Missed everyone. Hugs to my Trev fan. We missed you too, Terry. Yeah, T, you were on it.
People just can't make it there. And what the cameras do is allow the public to see what is happening in our government. That's it. Our cameras become your eyes and ears. Our cameras replace you getting in the car or getting in a plane or getting on a bus or getting on a train and heading down to your local courthouse to see what's happening. Cameras in the courtroom allow you to do that, us to do that.
Can you believe that there was only one video that came out on these four escaped, but the one that I just have a problem, like not much media is putting it out there. And if you have a guy say he did commit a murder, he hasn't went to court and got his his due process in court, but what if he did kill somebody? Like he's being locked up for. There's people in danger. It's actually eerie that it's barely out there as of right now. I'm sure it'll get bigger and bigger, but hopefully it does so people can be aware that 4 prisoners have escaped.
Because again, they're public and public for a reason. Now, this becomes an issue with in every case, with every defendant. I want to get a fair trial. And every defendant is entitled to a fair trial.
What's going on?
But not necessarily a secret trial. And it's interesting to see the reaction of many criminal defendants and their defense teams about how they react to a case when all of a sudden it becomes notorious or high profile and people are invested in finding out and seeing if justice will be done in the case, whatever they believe justice is. But again, it's not like these trials are happening in his courtroom or the judge's courtroom.
Again, if you're just coming in, we are covering a couple different things today. Checking in, touching back up on the roommates texting each other in the Idaho 4 case, that being leaked out allegedly. We don't even know if it's true or false yet. By the way, it's just been reported, talked about down here at the YouTube level. Then after me and JLR had a conversation about his post, right after that, it's viral on media and they're talking about it. You heard Nancy. If you were in here and you watched that Nancy video that we watched, she talked about it. Then I got Missy Bevers. Then we got Jennifer Mendes. There's a video I want to check out on that. The teacher assistant. Let's check it out. Actually, I want to dive into that right now.
Priority first and foremost, always.
Right now, this is the excuse me. This is Jennifer Mendes. She's missing. It's the teacher. I'm diving into this information now. This has been sent to me. I read a few different articles that were posted to me in Discord. Shout out to I think Leisure that was posting them. And now I want to check it out.
So I'm optimistic that hopefully she'll be found.
We're now getting a closer look at some of the last moments before a Texas teacher assistant vanished last month. The newly released surveillance video was recorded after ominous text messages were sent threatening that the woman would never be seen again.
What's the reason for the threats and messages, and where did they come from also?
Detective Troy Looney says investigators are still hard at work in the weeks after Jennifer Mendes Olascaga disappeared. The 24-year-old was last seen on September 27th in Seagoville, Texas, just outside of Dallas. Investigators say she was caught on gas station surveillance video after she dropped off a friend at a mobile home park. Mendes Olascaga hasn't been seen or heard from since.
The original video or missing date was September 27th, as we know. But detectives would start with a timeline to identify the location, video surveillance, witnesses, any and all possible suspects potentially that were there. Also, this friend that was mentioned, there's no name, of course, I'm sure, to protect the identity or for whatever reason, but this friend that was dropped off. So that all adds into places and leads to start the investigation, like the interview with that party, family and friends, and just to build a timeline for Jennifer's whereabouts before, during, and after the disappearance. So a lot of things to consider and follow up on.
Detective Looney says a timeline leading up to Mendes Olascaga's disappearance is crucial in this case. And weeks after her disappearance, time is of the essence.
Hold on 1 second. I had to read that. PJ said, just got in here, just got in, saw on Twitter saying his mom is speaking out, not sure if it's confirmed.
The time factor definitely plays a role, and time is always of the essence because depending upon the reason and factors involved, is this some kind of kidnapping or sex trafficking? Hopefully not. But if that is the case, obviously, the sooner we can locate Jennifer, the better. Sooner we can get details and maybe some of the forensic data back to track and trace whereabouts and identify parties involved. It just helps to providing safety for her first and foremost, and identifying what took place. All the questions of when, how, where, why, and what was going on. So of course, her safety first. Finding her alive is monumental. I mean, that's a huge part of everything, obviously. So time is always of the essence in every case, but especially missing persons.
What we know right
You're coming in. This is the Jennifer Mendes, as a teacher that went missing. Like I'm at the minimal part of knowing the minimal amount of information as far as families, that the boyfriend. Like I just read a couple articles that were sent to me within the last couple days, and it's a very interesting story. Where did she vanish to? And now they're saying that they found. Okay, so another thing, what was it? An hour ago, human remains found in an area where a missing Dallas ISD employee's car was found. So now we have this coming out an hour ago. Breaking news. In this case right here that we're watching, again, Jennifer Mendes Olascaga, or I don't even know if I said that right. Olascaga, I think that's how you say it. Human remains found in the area where a missing Dallas ISD employee's car was found. Let's pull this up real quick and check this out. Let's play this.
I have an idea. Should I tell you?
I'm the one to tell. I'm the host.
Person, place, or
all right, that's cool. We don't want to hear the ad will end in 7 seconds. Let's hear what they say. I want to see what this update is. Human remains, and they think it's hers. Okay. Where's our sound at? Oh, this is just some of the. Okay, I see what's going on here. Who was that guy inside the store in the blue shirt? I'm not sure. I'm just looking at this video footage. Okay, so that's her right there. Jim, I agree with Vinny belonging in the courtroom. Oh yeah, he was talking about how everything belongs in the courtroom. This is our courtroom. I like Vinny. Thank you, Jim. The DFW. This is just a super. Okay, I wanted to check that out though. All right, so I guess I thought they were going to talk about it, but let's read what it says. So it says human remains found. Okay, so they didn't even write anything to this. Investigators found human remains while searching for a Dallas ISD teacher's assistant who has been missing for nearly 3 weeks. Jennifer Mendes Olaskaga, 24, was last seen at the Quick Trip gas station on Highway 175 and Beltline Road in Dallas on September 27th. Now it says security video shows her buying food and a drink, filling up with the gas, and then driving off. That was shortly after she dropped a friend off at a mobile home park. And okay, so we were just kind of here. We're hearing that story on our video that we're watching.
Now is that Mendes Olaskaga dropped off a friend.
I wonder if those remains are hers. Waiting for confirmation, but parents believe her. So the parents do believe her. It's hers. What I'm seeing in chat. Thank you, Jim. Again, remains found, but parents believe her. T-REV, it's been a couple of days since remains have been found. They have not said yet if they are hers or not. How long are we getting for identification, though?
At the Creekside Mobile Home Park on Wednesday, September 27th. After that, she stopped at a Quick Trip gas station at about 8:30 p.m. The security video of that stop was released just this week. Looney says the recording could hold vital information in the missing persons search.
Well, we see Jennifer inside the store shopping, traveling back and forth to the gas pumps and putting gas in the car. There are also several other potential persons of interest and or witnesses that were present. There's a gentleman inside the store in a blue shirt. He walks out to a vehicle, I believe it's a white vehicle. Several other vehicles pulled in and out of the location. There's a pickup truck as well. I'm not just kind of hard to determine the color based upon the surveillance video because it differentiates with the shade or time of day and nighttime. I believe this was the evening hours. So it's hard to tell the exact color of a vehicle, but potentially license plates. Identifying and locating those parties that were present, interviewing them, and maybe even tracking their devices or communications potentially they could have had with her.
Video shows Mendes Olaskaga's vehicle pull into the gas station at 8:34 p.m. She parks at a gas pump before walking to the store. Once inside, Mendes Olaskaga can be seen in the back of the store, seemingly filling up a fountain drink. She then gets a lid and straw for the drink before walking back outside. Next, she heads to the passenger side of her car and can be seen filling it up with gas.
What happened? Did somebody have something against her? Like what would, or was this just a random attack? Come on. What do you guys think? Random? Do you think this was a random attack? Was it targeted? You know, what is it? Because I don't know. I don't know what to think. I need to hear more details of like around what her situation was.
By 8:44 p.m., just 10 minutes after she arrived, Mendes Olaskaga is back inside her car. She pulls away from the pump 1 minute later, and by 8:47 p.m., she's left the gas station altogether. Detective Looney says investigators with extensive training will be the ones to comb through this video.
Training is a huge factor, and it actually is very helpful with the experience also. We all look for different clues, of course, just as a journalist, you may see something that we may not see, and vice versa. So it's a collective effort, right? So what I noticed from the video were the parties that were there. I would also backtrack not just to the time that she entered, but earlier through that entire day, even during and after, what was taking place. You know, was the clerk interviewed or parties in the store? Is there someone there that we did not potentially see? Maybe someone could have been in the restroom or an adjacent business close to or across from that location. So potential other surveillance cameras, traffic cameras, and so forth. And again, systems involved with the investigation that the police may not readily disclose, but that's again for the integrity. So there could be some tracking capabilities as far as, again, devices, geo-tracking of the tower information. Is there a Wi-Fi router at that convenience store where they could maybe tap into the IP addresses and MAC addresses that have pinged to the Wi-Fi router? So a lot of things to consider. Of course, there's always, you have more than one set of eyes on the video to get different determinations or angles.
Since leaving the gas station, Mendes Olascaga has not been seen or heard from. Her family found her abandoned vehicle the following day with her wallet inside.
The wallet being left, is that intentionally? Or
man, that's a good question. Is anyone else in that car with her, maybe laying down in the back? Very good question. Did somebody take her from the, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Did somebody have control of her? I'm sure most of you get what I'm saying. Like, if you do this, I'm okay. And some people, go straight into flight mode. Or they panic. And they just panic and do what whoever is in the back or wherever they are telling them, they do exactly what they tell them to do. Shit like that does happen. That's a possibility.
Or it doesn't appear to be a robbery, or maybe have been a robbery, but that could have been done intentionally. So it just depends on the reasons that can be identified. Also, was there any other DNA? Was the car fully processed? Again, that's another investigative element and process that takes place. That's not really disclosed, but that's just a part of the process itself.
Detective Looney says investigators may have recovered important information from the abandoned vehicle.
So there's several things to consider. Obviously, the condition of the vehicle. I believe there was a mention of a wallet that was found, and maybe some other items. Now, of course, everything's not disclosed readily because it's about the case integrity, of course. But the vehicle, other factors such as, is there satellite-based tracking, GPS, monitoring? Are there devices inside the vehicle? Tire tracks maybe to and from the vehicle or other vehicles potentially involved. What kind of location where the vehicle's found? Like, I believe there's like a wooded area nearby, 5 miles from where she was last seen on video. So all those things factor in. Of course, potential DNA evidence, processing of the vehicle, and so forth. So everything factors in to what happened and how she could be tracked or found.
One of the last people to speak with Mendes Olascaga was the friend she dropped off. So far, that friend's name has not been released publicly. But that same friend came forward to Mendes Olascaga's family after she disappeared, reporting ominous texts they'd received. The messages allegedly read in part, quote, "You'll never find her, and you'll never see her again. And she's gone. Jennifer Mendes, and you're next."
It sounds like they're giving some kind of warning or also threats as well to that friend. So what potentially was going on? What's the reason for the threats and messages? And where did they come from also? So the source of those messages, be it cell phone, Wi-Fi, laptop, whatever device was used to transmit that, the tracking and tracing or identifying of those devices or IP addresses and all the forensic data will be very monumental and very significant to develop, maybe an identity of who's responsible, where they came from. Also, talking with a friend, the interview with a friend will be crucial because there's.
What about ex-boyfriends? I mean, is there anything that we can find on her? Right? Hold up 1 second. Let me go over here real quick. Let me get into my digging bag. All right, let's see if we can find anything. I don't know. That seems like a very, very, very common name.
Obviously, some reason potentially for the text, or maybe something else that could have happened. Previous incidents, previous conflicts. What kind of conflict was taking place, or what was going on in their lives to create this situation or the reason for this happening?
Texas officials confirmed Mendes Olascaga is a teacher assistant in the Dallas Independent School District.
So from what I'm reading on here on Facebook and the few things that I'm seeing is that a lot of people are thinking that this is her remains. A lot of people. But that doesn't mean that they are, because it could possibly not be in general.
Detective Looney says fellow teachers and even students could be interviewed about her disappearance.
What you should do in an investigation is look at the lifestyle, the place of work, family, friends, neighbors, relatives, of course, place last seen, but definitely the mobile home park and the school, because there could have been other incidents or prior incidents. Again, we're trying to determine what happened and why and who's responsible. So, of course, that would be part of the investigative process to interview students, colleagues, again, family, friends, to determine, are there other reports? Were there other incidents that took place prior to this? What is the history like and timeline of her lifestyle and her friend's lifestyle that would maybe create the situation? So again, the interview with a friend is crucial. And where were they prior to being dropped off? Where they're coming from? Or were they potentially, did they agree to meet someone? Or was Jennifer going to?
Sounds like there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes in this case. Just with the way they're sprinkling information. It's kind of like with Brian Koberger, remember? Remember the whole time the Idaho 4, but then his name went on their desk, what, November 29th? Right? It was November 28th, November 29th, Brian Koberger's name went across the police desk after November 13th. So, I mean, there's no telling what names they got or what they found through digital evidence like text messages or social medias or the friend or the names that the friend, I was around Dion and or I was around Jeff or Bonnie or whoever, right? And they wanted to hook up or so. You never know. We never know what type of situations happen behind the scenes that could have led to somebody wanting to harm her or whatever. It's weird situations, but it happens all the time.
To meet someone after dropping that friend off. So a lot of things still under investigation, obviously.
With many question marks left in the case, Detective Looney says investigators likely know more than they're letting on.
There's always more evidence potentially that could be present. And when you're engaging the acquisition.
Well, no, Chris, what I meant by that, and you're right, BK did pop up in December. But if you pay attention like real closely to the case, the Idaho 4 case, you will know that the first time that they ever heard about Brian Christopher Koberger was through the security guard on November 29th of 2022. That's when they first heard of Brian Christopher Koberger. Now, we didn't get that information till later after December. Pretty sure it was like right after, maybe going into January, that we started getting all that information. But yeah, they had his name on their desk November 29th or tip, whatever. The security guard from WSU called it in.
Position of forensics and the collection of data. Some things are very time sensitive and time consuming as far as sending out search authority, search warrant subpoenas for tower records, for search warrants for video surveillance, also the collection and acquisition. It's an entire, again, team effort by all parties involved, but there's always more evidence that could potentially be discovered and or that has been revealed, even statements to allow for other examinations of multiple scenes. I understand there's several different locations that have been explored. Of course, the mobile home park and the gas station, I'm sure her residence.
You never know.
And if they've located all parties that were present there, their devices as well should be examined.
One reason officials may be keeping details close to the vest is that a possible suspect could be watching news coverage of the case.
So what we have to consider always, if she has been held or taken somewhere, those potential parties are also viewing the media and the content. So they want to have an update as to how close are we getting or what's going on with the investigation, as much as can be disclosed, at least.
Though weeks removed from Mendes Olascaga's initial disappearance, Detective Looney still has hope for a positive ending to her case.
I'm always optimistic. I always look for, everything being relevant. And obviously with the investigative efforts, we don't know the full scope of what they've uncovered or what they have to still yet determine. So again, that interview with a friend is crucial. there could have been some other potential incidents or threats that were made prior to this that would lead to individuals responsible. And of course, Jennifer is first priority, first and foremost, always. So I'm optimistic that hopefully she'll be found. Maybe she'll talk about reasons or maybe what happened.
As for those threatening text messages Mendes Olascaga's friend is said to have received, local TV stations report the messages have not stopped. As the investigation into her disappearance continues.
So I see a bunch of, damn, they had a lot of, I'm looking at like their search crews and stuff that they had on here. Wow. A lot of people were out there searching. They were searching for her. What? Texas woman found burned alive. That's sad. That's super sad. Women are vicious because friend was told she would. Who was that from and why? Hold up, I got another one for her. Where did I see it at? Yeah, I want to hear more about this because I've seen some of y'all talking about it. Let me pull this right here.
Police and Texas Rangers are searching for a missing 24-year-old
I see
woman
that again.
with friends and family growing concerned over mysterious text messages they received. Take a look at Jennifer Mendes Olascaga's. Investigators say she vanished last Wednesday evening after dropping off one of her friends at a trailer park. Well, family members later found her car abandoned on the side of the road. They made that discovery the next morning, with the family telling police that Jennifer's friends had been receiving strange text messages. Listen to this. Things like, quote, "Are you missing someone? You'll never find her, and you know you'll never
Thank you,
see her
CKI.
again." Police say the content of those texts does point to foul play. Let's bring in News Nation national security contributor Tracy Walder. Tracy, thank you so much for your time on this. There are still so many unanswered questions here, but what is first likely going on behind the scenes in this investigation?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Nicole. I think first things first, they are absolutely examining her digital history. I think because of these text messages clearly pointing to foul play, although, we don't know for certain, they are really looking at her digital trail. What was her social media like in the hours just after she was last seen, which was about 8 p.m.? What was her
I
call
bet you they processed the hell out that car too.
log like? What were her text messages like? I also think that they're probably tracing the origins of those text messages. My gut tells me it's probably from a burner phone, which is obviously going to be difficult to track. But if it
Your gut's telling you it's from a burner phone? Where's that coming from? What did she talk about burner phones? She said my gut's telling me it's coming from a burner phone. Like, why would we even say
it's
that?
not, they'll be able to figure out who sent them very, very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Because something that certainly stood out to me here, and I don't know if it did to you, but how unusual is it, for loved ones, family, friends of a missing person to receive not only these type of taunting messages, but also they report getting these messages not only after she went missing, but also before she went missing and during this time
Yeah,
that
that's
she's,
what.
allegedly it happened. What stands out about that to you?
So it's very unusual, and obviously, I don't think this is the connection here, but it's actually reminiscent of what we saw with the Zodiac killer and other serial killers that sent
Right?
messages to family members or the press, sort of taunting them about the people that they had either killed or kidnapped. It's rare; it's not typically something we see, or if we do see them, then we see them with basically ransom activity, wanting something back in return. This is just taunting to taunt, which is definitely unusual.
All right, so Tracy, earlier there was this kidnapped girl in New York. Luckily, she was found. But are
The
missing
text to
adult
her
cases
friend.
handled differently than missing
I
kids?
wonder what the text to her friend say. I know we're not going to hear about all of it, but I wonder. I'm interested to see where this story goes. Are those remains hers? Is that going to come back? Yes or no? Because then the mystery goes on. If it's not, then the search is still on. Everything is still on. But they found her vehicle, so that leaves me to believe one thing. That leaves me to believe that she is dead. 50-50. I'm going to go 50-50 with it. Dead or somebody's holding her against her will. That's just my thought. That's my personal thought. That's my personal gut feeling. You said my gut says it's her texting and I don't have inside information. Text to friend, what is going on with this case? She says burn her phone because I heard they can't trace the number. That's just what I heard. Mom to 5 King says, was the friend who received these messages the friend she was last seen with? Good question. They found her recently, I believe. That's what they're saying, that they haven't even, when I was just looking it up, they haven't identified the remains yet. They haven't, but mom thinks it is what I seen on the article. Like Liz says, Lisa H68 in the building. Charlie says it would be dumb. It would be a dumb move not sending messages like that from a regular cell. Dee Dee says funny people don't want to believe BK is involved, but they sure do blame DM and BF for a lot. Shake my damn head.
Oh my God.
They found her recently, I believe. I hope those remains can be. I know. I hope they can too. I mean, they will with DNA, parents, etc. She went out. You said she went out with. I seen she went out with jealous friends. Where was that at? She went out with a jealous friends, or she went out with jealous friends, man, and they went after her. Burner phone means it was planned.
Oh my God.
Bing bang.
I'm thinking. Maybe they're gathering a whole case against them right now. Maybe they are gathering a case against said person, allegedly. I don't know that to be true.
I mean, what is the protocol for someone who is an adult?
So, yes, to answer your question in short, yes, missing children cases are handled differently in that police get on them right away. Typically, in the case of a missing adult, it is within 24 to 48 hours that you can then declare them missing. I think in this case, because they had those text messages and because the vehicle was found, they were able to declare her missing a lot sooner. So I think in this case, they had that on their side and really a shorter runway in terms of investigation and having the tools that they needed to declare her missing much earlier. And that brings a whole host of other resources, like you had mentioned before, the Texas Rangers.
And it sounds like a lot of people right now, really love this woman. They're worried about her. What would be your advice to Jennifer's family and friends right now?
Also, if you're just coming in, this is Jennifer Mendes. We went over, excuse me. We went over the Idaho 4. I don't mind talking about it still. We're on to Jennifer Mendes. And also, we talked about there's some breaking news coming out of Georgia. 4 inmates escaped. 1 that was charged with murder, which is absolutely insane. They're on the run right now. The fence was cut. I don't know if you just got here, if you just got to the stream. I'm just giving you an update. Breaking news coming out of Georgia. It was near Macon. The facility was called Bibb County Detention Center. They escaped from Bibb County Detention Center last night. I want to say it was 3 a.m. So at 3 a.m., a vehicle picked them up at the cut fence. So again, 2 to 3 hours ago, it was reported, and it's on articles. You can look it up right now. These inmates have escaped.
I know that this is going to sound strange,
Texas
but
Rangers
I think
coming in
answering
on
some
it.
of those text messages and trying to see if you can keep an open line of communication with them, because even though it's a burner phone, one of the things that they can do is perhaps geolocate where those calls are coming from and where those text messages, are coming from. And I think that would also be helpful. Also, reaching out to the media, getting her face in front of as many people as possible. Also, where she was taken from in Mesquite, I-20 is there. That is a very major thoroughfare. It's not very far from where I am now. And it's not that far to Louisiana and other states. So I think it's also important to get the word out to other police departments, perhaps in Shreveport and in cities of states close by.
All right. Well, former FBI agent, former CIA agent.
You said, I think the systems move way slow. Damn, the Texas Rangers coming in on it. You think so? Very sketchy. The contacting is sus. A Carly Russell says, Bree. Oh, wow. You think it's another one of those situations? Really? I'd be surprised. Toys, this one feels different for some reason, right? Her family and friends need to take precautions as the perp threatened them. Toys right. RM says, I know some people in GA will contact them. Yeah, definitely let people know in GA there is, again, If you guys could look it up yourself, Bibb County Detention Center, 4 escapees, 4 inmates on the run, 1 that has been charged with murder. So definitely need to be safe. Now, you want to know what's funny is I'm seeing something from 4 months ago that says Bibb County families concerned about inmate safety in jail. This was 4 months ago. And then now you have 4 escaped inmates from that same jail that they were talking about. So if you look up Bibb County Detention Center, type it in YouTube right now, about the 5th video down will be Bibb County families concerned about inmate safety in jail. And obviously you'll see the 4 inmates on the run after escaping Bibb County Detention Center. So there's already hella complaints. Families worried about safety of people and all different types of crap. So, man, there's Jennifer Mendes. I'm going to stay up to tune with that 100%. I want to find out what's going on with the Jennifer Mendes, if those remains are hers. I got to look up more information on it and possibly get some videos made on it too and put out. I need to dig up some information. Now, another case that I want to talk about, docuseries that I'm going to be dropping very soon, is Missy Bevers. How many of you in here are familiar with Missy Bevers? Michelle Farrow says, Dylan, I believe, knew what was going on, in my opinion. So you think Dylan just knew that he was coming in and getting to killing? You think that she planned and helped him? Is that what you're saying, Michelle? Politicians keep talking about our infrastructure agent. That includes jails and prisons. Yes, Texas Rangers are state police. Missy. No, and I'm serious too. Who is familiar with the Missy Bevers case, 7-year-old case that has not yet once at all? There's been a couple people they were looking at as possible suspects, but no arrest, nothing leading to an arrest whatsoever. So much mystery around this case, no arrest. It makes 0 sense. Really interested in the Missy Bevers case. Well, about to get you caught up because we're going to watch this docuseries right here together that was made early on so you guys can catch up with some of the information. It's not even the most accurate, up-to-date information, but it will fill you in on the story. Now, there is a docuseries. I've been telling you guys, I've been working on this Missy Bevers one for a while. And not only that, Jennifer Coffendorfer is really good friends with Missy Bevers' best friend. So keep that in mind. Keep an eye out for that. Delana, thank you. Keep an eye out for that docuseries, because I do have the most up-to-date information. And shout out to Hollis for sending me a binder full with every single piece of court paper from that case, from the whole entire everything, all up to date right now, all 7 years. So there's some interesting things in there, to say the least. We'll leave it at that. Shar says, it just seems odd that D called other people and not the police. Just can't get past that. Calling friends over to the house? I get what you're talking about. It's going to be an interesting trial. Most definitely is. Grammy says Missy B deserves justice. That looks like a female to me, waiting eagerly in Missy. Interested in Missy Bevers' case. Should get familiar with it. It's going to be one that we talk about. We're going to be talking about the Idaho 4 case, stuck in that. Missy Bevers. Tons of them. Jessica Johnson. Maybe not this stream, but that's going to be another one that we jump into. Multiple topics. Now let's go ahead and dive. I want you guys
believe that somebody's.
Now this episode right here is Who Knifed Terry Lean? Missy Bevers dead in Church of God. That's what this episode is called.
Still knows that this person is out there. Somebody knows who this person is and they haven't yet come forward.
Terry Missy Bevers showed up at the church to lead the 5 a.m. Camp Gladiator session. Surveillance video shows someone dressed in tactical gear with a jacket marked police.
Police say he broke into the church before Bevers arrived, then assaulted her and left her unresponsive.
A helmet and gloves help hide the intruder's identity.
I can assure you, if I knew who the killer was, I'd arrest him myself.
This is an extremely unusual situation for the city of Midlothian. We have a very, very safe community.
Midlothian is about 26 miles away from Dallas. It's a very small community. And it's shocking that in a sheltered community of about 30,000 people, there may very well be a killer walking amongst them.
This is crazy. Like this, it's actually creepy if you're looking at this footage, knowing what happens within the next 20 to 30 minutes.
I was inside the church, not realizing the intruder was already inside, and shortly thereafter, she was murdered inside of the church.
She was a very loving mother of 3 and loved her husband very much. And they were a great family, and we're very sad to lose her.
Why is so much attention focused on this case? Of course, Missy is young and beautiful. She's a mother of some beautiful little girls.
They don't know.
Your heart breaks to think of them being raised without their mother, of all people.
My 2 oldest children are they're completely aware of what has happened. My youngest one is not completely aware.
But she seemed to be, in the words of her husband,
a godly woman. She was very passionate.
2017.
About changing people's lives with fitness.
But what is really riveting about this to so many people is that if you look at the Bevers family, they had it all. They're young, they're attractive, they've got a beautiful family, they have jobs. They seem happy in their community. They're staunch members at the Cowboy Church down the street. They're everything so many people want to be.
I don't think she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I feel like someone was after her, and why? I don't know why.
So often when women are murdered or assaulted.
Now, I'm telling you this right now. When I say Nancy Grace has been following this since the day it happened, she literally reported on it the night that she went on, the same day that it happened, on HLN. And I had followed, I got obsessed with this case. This was back in 2016. So it's a pretty wild case. Like it's unsolved. It's a big mystery. It's a big whodunit. There's a few cameras, and and every single camera evidence, whatever you want to call it, just camera shots in general, will frustrate the hell out of you. And just because it shows stuff, but it doesn't show the right stuff.
The first question is, well, why was she there? Well, actually, that is irrelevant as to why Missy Bevers was at the Midlothian Church at 4 o'clock in the morning. But I'll tell you why. Missy was at the church that morning because she regularly teaches a 5 a.m. gladiator boot camp style aerobics class.
All right, here we go.
Being here on the ground in front of this very quiet church in this extremely rural community, it feels almost eerie thinking about 45-year-old Missy Bevers, who came to this church early in the morning to conduct her exercise class that she'd been doing many times before, thinking that she was safe inside this church.
Missy gets there around 4:16 a.m. Imagine the picture. It's still dark outside. You can't see. It's been intermittently raining. The sky is dark. The wind is blowing outside the church. Typically, her class was held outdoors. But on this day, because of the weather, it was moved inside the church.
Yep.
4:16 a.m. And the killer was waiting.
There's a door with a window broken out, and also the door latch has been broken, windows broken out here on the side of the church, and then also on the back.
Did I miss that detail the first time? They plan to have it outside, but that day they can't. I don't know. That just sounds way too planned.
Back of the church, the police are saying that the
All right, that
suspect was
sounds
likely
planned.
inside the church, wrecking the place, vandalizing everything for a full 30 minutes before Missy ever showed up.
The perp gets into the church after 3 a.m. and is spotted on surveillance video sauntering. Is really the only accurate way I can describe it.
What we were hoping is that somebody who may see that gate, that may trigger something in their mind. Of course, we've got the police attire, the police garb that's been described in various ways. Maybe they could couple that information with other knowledge they had of specific people.
Looking in cabinets, closing cabinets, not pilfering through to try to find something to steal, but just wandering up and down the halls.
It kind of changed my opinion when I initially saw it the other day. I felt like it had a more feminine gait, feminine walk. However, when I saw it this afternoon, it was a more lengthy video, so you're able to get more of the person's gait and their mannerisms.
Look at the video. The person has a very distinct walk. There's just a very distinct mannerism about this person that should be very apparent to somebody.
And they appear a little bit more masculine in these scenes.
I can't tell if the person is a man or a woman.
This person appears somewhat tipsy, like they're under the influence possibly of something. You'll see them touch the wall, just walking through the hallway, and it's not a very normal-minded person.
So the killer arrives well before Missy, then goes to the area that she will go to as well, almost as if waiting in ambush in that particular area where the perpetrator knows she's going to set up her audio equipment.
The investigators are trying to put together a puzzle.
We haven't yet established definitively the gender of the suspect. They went to a lot of, to great effort to conceal their identity, and so far, without definitive information on the gender, it could be male or female.
What about race?
It appears, just like you've seen in the video, it appears that they're lighter skinned. Again, we can't definitively say what race they are. We don't believe them to be a dark-skinned person.
Charleston State University criminology professor G.M. Cox says over 24 investigators are working the case in the FBI.
I've been doing some digging on this, and Hollis came by some things, and then I checked into some things, and we found somebody, a woman, alleged suspect, possible. And there's a little backstory to it, but I'm gonna let the docuseries tell. You're gonna hear more of the name, and I may show you the video on this stream too, like the small clip that I'm talking about that I'll be covering during the docuseries.
Has joined in too
on who the person is.
I think it's a very interesting case. I looked at the video. There's clearly planning. This is not a haphazard crime.
Any closer on the motive?
No. Again, at this point, without a strong suspect focus, anything is on the table.
3:58 a.m. The mystery person is seen in the hallways of the local church. About 4 a.m., Missy arrives with her gear to set up for her class. Then the video mysteriously goes to black. Around 5 a.m., Missy's students arrive to find a horrifying scene. She's been murdered. Cops find broken glass on the floor. Nothing is missing. Missy's husband, Brandon, is baffled.
It was a shoddy amount of clothing to look like some type of an enforcement officer. It wasn't real tactical clothing.
And Jeremy says not just anyone can buy a cop uniform.
First thing we're going to do is ask you for credentials. And then after you present your credentials of police, security, constable, sheriff, that gives you whatever authority to buy what you need.
The real cops aren't revealing a motive for murder. They originally thought Missy surprised a burglar, but are no longer convinced that's what happened.
That is from Crime Watch Daily.
It certainly looks like the individual took time to learn the territory, got dressed into a uniform.
Brandon Bevers' mother says her.
So most of you think this is a, hold on, let's go ahead and get to the poll here. I see the poll, 645 votes. Do you think Dylan should have called 911? Yes, 66%. No, 2%. If she knew, then yes, 32. All right, let's open this one up. Is a male or female? I just want to see what y'all think on that.
Son has paid frequent trips to the police department since his wife's death, which according to the search warrant was caused by a head wound inflicted by an unknown instrument.
Based on what this video surveillance shows, you can take the perpetrator and compare, for instance, their height to, say, a door frame that the perp is standing beside. And you can calculate within an inch how tall the perpetrator is.
Forensic video reconstruction is complete. It's given us a height range for the suspect from approximately 5'2" to 5'7".
67.
You can figure out their weight. You can even figure out their shoe size. That's a very detailed description of the killer.
Evil, you know, they're evil. Right now, I'm just in the anger phase. I want to find that person. I want to look at them in the face. I want them to die.
It's been very frustrating, to be quite honest with you. It's you know, we want an arrest as bad as anybody in this case. We want to bring that sense, you know, of safety back to the community and resolve this for the family as well as our community and the public in general. So, you know, we'll continue to work until that's done.
A lot of us, including myself, really feel that she was targeted. When I think about this, the only thing I can think of is, you know, I could see where a woman may be jealous of Missy.
That's from NBC5 Dallas.
She was a companion. We enjoyed fishing. We enjoyed going to the beach. We spent a lot of time at the ocean.
Yeah, but there's marital affairs in here also. So wait for it. There's definitely marital affairs, and he was open about it. But you'll hear.
We've been together for 20 years, and we've managed to keep it, you know, held together all this time.
Michaela's new show on HLN has it all. 17th on HLN.
It was well known that Bevers taught an early morning fitness camp at Creekside Church of Christ.
So I'm going to demonstrate just a few. The suspect broke into the church before Bevers arrived and roamed the church's hallways, then assaulted her.
Who is this cloak killer and why
What's
Missy?
going on, baby? Second nice to see you, brother.
Wisely,
The body
Midlothian
shape,
PD have called in a team of crack digital analysts, and they will take every footstep, every movement. We see that the perp is right-handed. We will determine even about their hands, the size clothing they're wearing.
You know, as you guys listen to this, for people who don't know about this case, which some of you really do know a lot of the details about this case, keep in mind that nobody has been arrested and that this is still an open homicide case right now. Keep that in mind while you watch.
Maybe to figure out who is the killer.
We've also learned some additional information
about
regarding
this
the
for
physical
years.
description of the suspect. The forensic video reconstruction is complete. It's given us a height range for the suspect from approximately 5'2" to 5'7". We hope this information will help us to sift through leads and eliminate, you know, suspects and information that comes in that's well outside of that range.
In fact, they even go back to the scene of the crime late at night and retrace the killer's footsteps in order to create a comprehensive and very detailed description of Missy Bevers' murderer.
The last remaining lead involves a car that pulls into the SWFA Sporting Goods parking lot at approximately 2 a.m. They're seen pulling into the parking lot and leaving just a few minutes later. We believe that car is a 2010 to 2012 Nissan Altima. It's light in color, possibly silver. It's hard to tell, as you remember it was raining that morning. Let me emphasize, though, we don't have any reason whatsoever to believe that this car, its driver, are in any way involved in the murder of Missy Bevers.
1 month after the murder of Missy Bevers, Midlothian police say they still have no suspect. The search for a light-colored Nissan caught on camera near the scene that morning, they say, is simply an effort to check every clue.
This is the last lead that hasn't been exhausted from the video canvassing.
The majority of tips from the public have focused on the killer's distinct gait, seen in the church surveillance video. Police tell us new analysis shows the killer is between 5'2" and 5'7", but even advanced software couldn't determine the person's weight or their...
You know that statement that officer just made right here?
Involved in the murder of Missy Bevers.
1 month after the...
Silver.
Listen, this statement that he made right here, he made that not to scare them.
Hard to tell, as you remember, it was raining that morning. Let me emphasize, though, we don't have any reason whatsoever to believe that this car, its driver, are in any way involved in the murder of Missy Bevers.
See, they said that right there as like a scare tactic to try to get that person to come in and be like, hey, yeah, that was me driving there, you know. Not working.
1 month after the murder of Missy Bevers, Midlothian police say they still have no suspect. The search for a light-colored Nissan caught on camera near the scene that morning, they say, is simply an effort to check every clue.
This is the last lead that hasn't been exhausted from the video canvassing.
The majority of tips from the public have focused on the killer's distinct gait, seen in the church surveillance video. Police tell us new analysis shows the killer is between 5'2" and...
Right after this video, I got you. Crime. Trust me. I've been working on a docu-series. I got so many. I got a folder on this computer because this is where I've been working on it at. I got almost all the footage I possibly need for it.
5'7", but even advanced software couldn't determine the person's weight or their gender.
At first, we were told the church did not have video surveillance outside. But we have now learned, based on our own investigation, that the church does have video surveillance outside, but intermittent. Working sometimes, not working other times. It was dark that night. It was rainy, stormy, picked up very little outside.
At this point, without a strong suspect to focus, anything is on the table.
While police haven't ruled out any suspects, they say they have confirmed husband Brandon Bevers' alibi. Attorney and former police officer Pete Schulte says anyone close to the victim has likely been checked out.
They're going to make sure they can eliminate those particular people as suspects, and they start to broaden their search, and that just takes time.
Investigator strategy, he says, will likely shift to make sure every possibility is examined.
Unlike many homicides, Missy's body was found fairly quickly after her murder. How do we know that? Because her Gladiator boot camp aerobic students showed up for their 5 a.m. workout class. So she's murdered a little after 4 a.m. They get there a little before 5 a.m. So her body has only been lying there, say 45 minutes max, before it's discovered.
You know what it says now, though? It says killed by gunshot. I have the binder right here.
That's important. Why is that important? Because the sooner you reach a body, the more likely it is you're going to get forensic clues from that body.
Just because it's been a month, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not close to getting a suspect in this case. It just means that they're going to have to keep digging, keep going on long.
For instance, let me show you guys something real quick. You see this binder? This is all full of her. This is every case. This is all the files from this case up to date. This binder right here. So this is all the information on Missy Bevers. On the case, all of it.
Longer until they make an arrest.
Marcia Tucker, Missy's mother-in-law, I cannot even imagine having to tell Missy's girls that their mom is gone, one child as young as 8 years old. Our prayers have been with you and your whole family.
Shout out to
Please know that. I'd like to find out what kind of a person Missy was.
Well, Missy was she was very goal driven. I mean, for her to get up at that time of morning, and she did that throughout the week to go teach people, and she was loved it. She just loved it. She was always on the go with her girls. They're in sports and going here and there and.
Well, Miss
whatever
Tucker,
she
was
did, she
her
gave
husband
100%.
worried about her going to teach aerobics so early in the morning?
Well, of course. I mean, anybody would be. I mean, go to work and that early in the morning.
Crazy.
I mean, you can't help, but having some concern. But she was trustworthy, and thinking that everybody else was.
I believe it was him.
Everyone, take a listen to the sister's theory.
A lot of us, including myself, really feel that she was targeted. When I think about this, the only thing I can think of is, I could see where a woman may be jealous of Missy. They put fear in our hearts. They changed these girls' lives, my niece's lives. They will never have a mother, help them with their wedding day, help them with their prom, boyfriends. They will never have that. That person took this from them, from us.
That is from NBC5 Dallas. That is Missy's sister-in-law with the theory that
I don't think you guys understand. There's burner phones involved. Like, there's burners phones involved. There's LinkedIn accounts involved. There's LinkedIn accounts involved with names that they don't even talk about on here at all, that are important. You got the dry cleaners, which a lot of you know about, with Randy Bevers. They have LinkedIn Casey Williams, which we'll have to dive into that. You got Bobby Wayne Henry, which they talked about, and I actually have a video on that. I got plenty. I'm telling you, I got a lot of tea on this Missy case.
the killer could
All
be
the
a
tea.
jealous wife. With the hand.
If I knew who the killer was.
The person has a very distinct walk.
Because I've blessed him myself.
Many legal eagles believe that Missy was murdered with the hammer. A hammer, sometimes described as a pry bar or a crowbar initially, that you see the perpetrator swinging casually as they're wandering up and down the halls of the church. And another reason people believe that that is a murder weapon is because Missy died of multiple puncture wounds to the head and the chest. Now, if it had been a knife, we would have expected to hear them described as stab wounds, but instead they are described by authorities as puncture wounds. That is consistent with the hammer or a pry bar or crowbar being the murder weapon.
The last remaining lead involves a car that pulls into the SWFA Sporting Goods parking lot at approximately 2 a.m. They're seen pulling into the parking lot and leaving just a few minutes later. We believe that car is a 2010 to 2012 Nissan Altima. It's light in color, possibly silver. It's hard to tell as you remember it was raining.
And on the flip side, hold up one second. I'm going to pull this up for you guys here who are in here real quick. Here's another name that we're going to be talking about. Take a look at what you see on your screen here. We're going to go back to that, what we were just watching. I'm going to take us back to it. But look, where's it at? Why is it not on our screen? Here it is right here. All right, here. This is something that I came across. Hollis sent it to me, and when I came across it, I was like, whoa. And then we looked more into it, and there is a connection there. Let me go back to here and turn that music down. But what you're looking at right here is somebody that was close to Do you hold on, first of all, let me ask this question. Do you think that this person looks like they could be that person? Yes or no? 1 for yes, 2 for no, or just yes or no? Shout out to Hollis for finding it. This was a good find by Hollis right here. Did chat stop working? What's going on? That right foot. Okay, I'm good. I can see it. Oh, damn. Chat just jumped on me. Hold up. I need to go back up. That's crazy, chat. Oh, shit. I thought so too. Yes. Oh, my God. Aren't most churches locked up and only keep them? Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah. That's the lady I was talking about just from you just from looks familiar. Maybe initial autopsy, confused gunshot wound for puncture wound. Wow. Bing bong. Oh my God. Wow. No way. Yeah, this was a find, and there is a connection here, and you will hear about it in the docuseries that I drop. The connection here is now. Like I'm gonna put, we're gonna just go out. I'm not even gonna read it. I have it all written right in front of me right here. I ain't read. We're gonna wait. I gotta wait to drop that to you, and y'all see. You'll see it in the video. I just wanted to show you that though. I got a lot of clips. Trust me. But tell me that person. Could that person be that person? I see a lot of you say 1 1 1 1 1. It's you said it stalled. 1 1. Yes. 1 1. Yes, there is a connection there, and that connection is deep. I got to get in with Hollis again. The story on it is that this is, you know what? Let's just go ahead and read it, right? Courtney Tucker. Now, allegedly, this is put out there. This was on the internet. A former student of Missy's camp gladiator class. This is something that I came across, right? Ironically, she just got foot surgery, and that explains the gait. Her husband, AJ Tucker, and her filed for divorce. Missy was having private meetup workout sessions with AJ. Courtney got jealous. She had prior military experience, which explains her behaviors of having a log journal and pretending to be a self-defense security guard. Knowing which security parking lot security cameras to shut off, definitely unplanned yet planned. Now, this was between some conversations going on Reddit, but in general, there was a lot of interesting information regarding around here, or her in general, which prompt me to dive deeper into it. But I'll just give you that certain part right there and leave it at that. What's going on? Jar release in the building. Oki, I'm so glad you shared the info on Todd and the pic of the little girl that benefited from your show. Ran into John a few nights back. I was furious at the things he was. That's all cap. I never heard of that person either. We don't know. I never heard of that person. Interesting find. Most definitely.
Let me emphasize though, we don't have any reason whatsoever to believe that this car or its driver are in any way involved in the murder of Missy Bevers. In the interest of following up on every possible lead, this is the last lead that hasn't been exhausted.
Never heard of that person.
This is actually a
Oki. I've never heard of that person.
major breakthrough in this case. I want to see the car again as Stephen Becker with Robson Forensic is telling us his analysis. Whose car is this? And why are they less than a mile away from Missy's murder scene? Go ahead, Stephen.
Well, unfortunately, you can't make out the license plate in this video. That would give us a positive identification as to whose vehicle that would have been.
Why? Why can't this be enhanced? I mean, can't NASA help us? Isn't there no way to enhance this to get even one character, one letter, one number off the tag?
You'll get to learn more about that.
That's a great point, Nancy.
That's all allegedly.
In a lot of movies, you'll see they enhance the video, and suddenly you can miraculously see objects that were previously obscured in the video. What you have here is you have a highly reflective license plate. Specialized cameras called license plate recognition camera systems can identify license plates both in the dark and in high light conditions, because what they do is they focus in on the area of the license plate and they use lighting with the camera.
Many people believe, based on the gait or the saunter of the perpetrator, that it is a woman. However,
NASA Nancy.
if it is a woman, it defies every rule of homicide method and assessment. It's very rare that a woman will kill another woman by bludgeoning.
As far as communicating prior to her camps, no, I mean, she got there pretty early.
There's the husband right there, by the way.
You hadn't heard from her that morning.
No.
Did you guys speak the night before?
Yes.
And did you?
Yes.
Say to her?
Every day for the last 10 months, she has made it a point to text me at work that she loves me. And have a good day, honey.
I've never heard of that. I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Dear friend.
Now maybe it was
Personally, gear. Wish I could help you, but I don't know who that is.
Me, Sunday, October 23rd, 9 p.m. I'll see you there, friend.
This person in black tactical gear killed Bevers first breaking into the Creekside Church of Christ before she showed up to teach an early fitness class.
I was thinking someone was stalking her, or now maybe it was just a, I don't know, it's just a crazy person. You can't make sense out of crazy.
I don't know if it's business related or some kind of jealousy. I've pretty much exhausted every scenario and every avenue that I can think of who could have done this. I'm discouraged to the point where I truly want to just reach out to this individual myself. As odd as it may sound, I can truly forgive you for what you've done, but only if you come forward, turn yourself in, do what's right. You know, don't live the rest of your life with this on your heart, because it will eat you like cancer. The same applies with my family. We need closure. This is going to eat us alive for many years to come.
That's from Fox 4 KDFW. This was no burglary gone wrong. Nothing was stolen from the church. In fact, Missy's iPad, her cell phone, her purse was all sitting in her car still. The car has been taken, inventoried, and returned to her husband, Brandon Bevers. So clearly it holds no significant clue.
At this point, none of the family, friends, or co-workers of Missy Bevers are considered suspects. Despite various theories circulating through social media, none of the people named in our affidavits are now suspects. Several family members seem to also be at the center of the public's focus. I just want to be clear that the Bevers family, including Mr. Bevers and his father, have been cooperative, forthcoming, and provided detailed alibis that have all been corroborated through independent sources.
Missy Bevers had some communication with at least 9 people.
What would it be because she pushed somebody hard in class? Like what would cause somebody to what's the motive behind it? Is it the affair part of it? Is it? But there's a weird story surrounding the whole Courtney that I read. And again, what I said earlier, everything that you hear on my channel is allegedly speculation. If you haven't heard it from law enforcement, it's not true, but there was information that I seen out there, and whether it's true or false, it's 50-50. I have no idea if it's true or false. And I put that disclaimer out there when I tell people, hey, this is what I came across, and I'll actually show where I got it from. So it's interesting though. And it kind of connects back because there's some stuff in the paperwork that connects to that.
Leading up to the day she died, police used a search warrant to access those 9 and the phone calls and text messages they made. Could any of them be tied to the person seen in this video?
Until Missy's killer is caught, I will stop short of saying that any person is absolutely excluded. But to be clear, none of Missy's family are at the focus of this investigation.
Late today, investigators told CBS 11 none of those 9 are defined as suspects now. We have nothing to substantiate any connection between them and a murder suspect, Assistant Chief Kevin Johnson said today.
We've learned a lot about Missy and her husband Brandon's relationship. We've learned most of this through search warrants, secret search warrants that we obtained. They reveal that there was a lot of strife in the marriage.
Oh, wow.
That could be argued about every marriage, especially when you have children and both partners are working to support the family.
A family in grief embraced the community, came in support.
You guys embodied the spirit of my wife.
Brandon Bevers told the crowd his wife was passionate about fitness and well respected by the students she taught.
That was
I
the
wasn't
husband.
terribly good at praising my wife for what she did. That's one of my regrets.
We learned that there was a financial crisis going on in the home, a lot of financial trouble. Not only that, the search warrant reveals that there were intimate relationships or relationship
Bing bang.
between one of the married individuals, Missy or her husband, Brandon, and other people, clearly indicating that police believe somebody was having an affair. That certainly muddies the water.
Police confirm Bevers' husband, Brandon, knew about her infidelity in the relationship, and he told police about it. Police extracted deleted information from Missy Bevers' phone, information that confirmed an affair.
Most people in society, they don't have their baggage strewn out in public like this. But the problems that we've encountered, I would have to say 80% of society deals with the same problems. And in our particular case, we were dealing with our problems and we were, attempting to overcome. And that's what kept us together.
That's from Fox 4 KDFW. We know that Missy was a devoted mother to her little girls. We know that her life was her
There's actually video footage of that. I have it.
family.
She decided to become physically fit, and for a 40-some-odd-year-old mother of 3, she was very fit and transformed on an unimaginable level. Her body pretty well sold her abilities in transforming and helping other people.
And these boot camp workouts, she was devoted to helping other people improve their lives through resculpting their bodies and their self-esteem. Completely devoted, would spend from about 10:30 to 1 o'clock every day in a gym religiously, never missed her classes, and spent most of her days either working out, doing boot camp.
You think so? Her husband's talking too much for an innocent man.
Or driving her girls to this practice
Husband
and that
sus, one
practice
for
and
yes,
this
two for no.
appointment and that appointment.
When I finally arrived in Biloxi around 7:30, which was later than I was supposed to be there, I spoke to her and she said good night, and it was still about 8 o'clock. And I called her anyway, probably around 9 or 9:30 to tell her I love her. And she was already half asleep, and that's the last time I spoke to her.
Sure, we could have stacked these tires, or
Video of a 2 a.m.
express.
grainy video of a 2 a.m. mystery car emerging, a bizarre twist in the Missy Bevers murder investigation. Multiple friends of Missy saying Missy reaching out to them from beyond the grave. And tonight is Missy's killer playing a cruel game, taunting friends, family, police. This as Missy's husband breaks his silence on their marital woes after cops allege intimate relationships outside their marriage.
Lead investigators tell NBC News someone created another Facebook page in Missy Bevers' name, a fake, and then systematically started making friend requests, targeting Missy's students from the Camp Gladiator workout classes she led.
This case is just such a mystery, and that's what grabs you in.
That's what grabs you in it. That's what made me work hours. Right now, I probably spend about close to 13, 14 hours on what I've been working with just digging up information and downloading stuff and building a board for the docu-series for this case in general could be, and I have the binder with all the information, and man, it's telling you, this case there's going to be more updated stuff in the series that I put out.
That's NBC's Today. Friends of Missy suddenly start getting Facebook messages from Missy after her murder. The first thing I want to do, Chris Spargo, is hear what are the messages? What is being sent from Missy's account to her friends?
Well, friends of Missy have been saying that they've been getting Facebook friend requests from a profile that has been created under her name, obviously well after her own death.
Now, wait a minute. How bizarre is that? Your friend is murdered brutally, and then suddenly you begin getting Facebook friend requests from her. That must have really upset her friends. And they were also, who else were they, Chris Spargo with dailymail.com? Who were they friends? Were some of them her exercise students that go to her boot camp?
Exactly. It was a whole bunch of people she knew. It wasn't just friends. It was also some students and some acquaintances. It was a rather large group of people who've been receiving these friend requests.
So how many do you think there are, Chris, that are getting friend requests from Missy?
We know that it's at least over 30, and it's so many that police had to finally make a comment because it had become such a problem.
The Creekside Church sitting in Midlothian is in a very, very rural area. Why is that significant? It means that fewer people would have seen, either intentionally or inadvertently, the killer. There are no big buildings around it. There's not surveillance across the street from a restaurant or a pub or a shopping center or a private home. It causes another problem because the cell phone data, there's only one cell phone tower feeding into that area. Will that help or hinder the investigation?
CBS 11 sources say detectives will now be getting help from the NYPD and its high-tech tracking devices. It's unclear specifically what technology they'll be using, but the NYPD has been known to operate stingrays. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, the department has relied on stingrays in at least 1,000 cases. The device, also known as cell site simulators, mimics cell phone towers.
It'll automatically connect to the stingray without any control of me, the user. And what the stingray then does is it mines data off the phone very quickly,
including the serial number as well as other data, which can be then used to identify who the phone belongs to. Former police officer and criminal defense attorney Pete Schulte says if investigators do in fact use a stingray, they'd focus on the church where the mystery person in tactical gear attacked Missy and also the Bevers neighborhood.
if somebody keeps coming back to the crime scene, which happens a lot in murder cases, they're going to be able to identify that person because of the data that's coming from the stingray.
The ACLU says Texas is one of dozens of states where law enforcement agencies have the technology. Highly controversial because they can gather not just suspect information, but also data from the phones of people who just happen to be in the area.
The device in of itself is very invasive, and nobody can do anything to stop it. When it's activated, cell phones will automatically connect.
You don't have anybody driving by the church at that time of the morning, very little traffic going by. So all that combines to make it a much harder case to crack. You're not going to get an eyewitness, let's just say that. How did a local dry cleaner get in the middle of a murder investigation? Well, I'll tell you how. About 96 hours after Missy is found dead in the Creekside Church in Midlothian, her father-in-law, her husband's father, takes bloody clothes to a local dry cleaner. The father-in-law was pretty forthcoming, though. He spoke to the media. He gave a statement to police saying that their little dog got into an altercation, a dog fight with a much bigger dog, and actually died. They rushed the dog to the vet, and they got dog animal blood on their clothes. We now know the scope of her friends that are receiving Facebook messages from Missy after her death is expanding. People that she saw or spoke to at the Austin Fitness Convention the weekend before she's murdered are getting them. People that go to her boot camp class are getting them.
And I'm looking as you look through the folder, and I've looked at through the folder in time. One thing that I noticed in there that they got a lot of warrants for is a bunch of burner phones. Mighty odd, but a bunch of burner phones are involved in this.
Them. Friends are getting them. Let me understand something, Chris Spargo. Do police think they understand what's happening?
They really don't. Now, it could be something as simple as a glitch, maybe in deactivating her original account, something went wrong, or it could be someone playing a horrifically ill and inappropriate joke, or it could be something even more sinister.
Not only this, we discover that her husband is speaking out. Chris Spargo, he is pretty convinced the killer is a woman.
Yeah, he is saying that he's really convinced it's a woman, and he's really convinced it's someone that knew his wife and had something against her. He points out the fact that when she was found, she was still wearing her wedding ring, and it clearly wasn't a robbery. This person was clearly after his wife, he believes.
So Missy Bevers was wearing her wedding band at the time she's murdered. If the killer was intent on burglarizing or stealing, why leave behind the wedding band? Look at that. It looks like diamonds in it to me. Not only that, her iPad, her iPhone, other items were left behind. Clearly, this was no random burglary gone awry. What do we know about the husband finally breaking his silence on their marital?
That was animal blood. That was animal blood found at the dry cleaners.
Woes outlined by police, including intimate relationships outside the marriage.
Yeah, I mean, he's being very open about the fact that everything's being laid out right now. The fact that they are going through her correspondences, they are investigating the fact that there may have been relationships with other men. And he's also saying that he doesn't want to not be considered a person of interest in this case. He wants everyone to be treated like a person of interest because he wants to get to the bottom of this and he wants some answers.
See me.
See me.
Don't. Until Missy's killer is caught, I will stop short of saying that any person is absolutely excluded.
I believe she was targeted. That was a shoddy amount of clothing to look like some type of an enforcement officer.
Forensic video reconstruction is complete. It's given us a height range for the suspect from approximately 5'2" to 5'7".
And now, the police running out of leads in her murder. What's so odd is that it seems to me, of course, the friends state that Missy is speaking from beyond the grave, but it seems to me someone has hacked into her Facebook account and is taunting friends, family, and in effect, police. So how do you track down? I mean, who else would do that beside the killer who had clearly been following her on Facebook the whole time? So how do we track that down? When police try to go back and look at it, it's not there anymore. One person, one of these friends got a screen grab of the friend request from Missy after she's murdered.
There's an ongoing investigation. So the first thing the police did was go to Facebook with a preservation warrant and say, we want you to preserve all data related to this account. The police do have everything.
It seems to me, just logically speaking, that this is the killer doing
They have his too. They have husbands, by the way, too. It's in the report in here.
this. Why? What sick thrill would Missy's killer get out of taunting her friends and family by sending them messages from her Facebook after she's been murdered?
Well, it's a very, very sick thing to do. It's based in jealousy. It's based in a lot of sick meanness, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the killer. It could be somebody who wants to be her and is pretending to be her and taking over her identity also. But at the end of the day, it's someone who is very, very disturbed.
You just said something interesting, Dr. Charles Sophie, about taking over her identity. This is someone obviously that followed her moves, that knew when she was working out, where she was working out, who her friends were. She had just been away for the weekend in Austin at a fitness convention. And now you said those words, taking over her life, even taking over her Facebook friends.
Absolutely. And it's not uncommon where someone will step into someone else's life. They've been tracking them for a while and they become them. And if they're really disturbed, they really believe they are that person.
And then there's LinkedIn. Some guy, a married man, had been sending and receiving very flirtatious messages on LinkedIn back and forth between him and Missy Bevers, which were immediately deleted. Missy's family has been speaking out. Now, interesting, her own blood family has said very little. Her stepmother, however, has now written 2 open letters to the killer, and I find them very revealing. For instance, in one of them, she refers to the killer in your shoes too big for you, which to me implies that the killer, she believes, is a woman. As police,
it says the names to the LinkedIn account, so the dude that we named earlier, it's right there in the binder with Casey.
Police have suggested. She also goes on to say they're on to you. Wouldn't you rather turn yourself in as opposed to getting arrested in front of your family?
I still believe that the police are leaning on the husband because he knows the network, the tree of people that his wife was connected to. And perhaps he knows who she was having an affair with, or she knew who he was having an affair with. And maybe it's a disgruntled partner or husband or wife of whoever these people were having affairs with.
If you look at the stepmother-in-law's open letters to the killer, it's highly suggestive that the Bevers family has a pretty good idea who the killer is.
Oh my
God! That episode's wild. Older episode, but good. It's good for starters for people who that don't really know about the case. And then somebody asked about this earlier. Here you go.
Brandon Bevers, the husband of the wife, Missy Bevers, who was murdered just over 10 days ago, and his father, Randy Bevers, are talking. Let's listen in.
They had everything. They had my flight tickets, the rental car that we rented in Gulfport, Mississippi. Matter of fact, when I pulled in my driveway Monday at 3 p.m., I was in a car with Mississippi plates on it. And, I mean, all of that.
Over 10 days ago.
Here, let's go ahead and look at the mannerisms.
Talking. Let's listen in.
Here you go.
They had everything. They had my flight tickets, the rental car that we rented in Gulfport, Mississippi. Matter of fact, when I pulled into my driveway Monday at 3 p.m., I was in a car with Mississippi plates on it. And I mean, all of that's a non-issue.
Randy,
you're welcome.
The dry cleaner had your shirt listed as a woman's.
There's a father-in-law, by the way.
Your shirt, the dry cleaner listed your shirt with the bloodstains on it as a woman.
Well, my wife's white shirt had bloodstains on it too. So both of us had bloodstains on her shirt and mine. So because it,
So there are 2 shirts of blood on it.
Yeah.
The one on list one. Where's the other shirt?
The dry cleaners.
So the dry cleaner calls and says there's blood on.
I don't know what I don't know the conversation between the cleaners and the police station. Okay, I don't know that conversation.
So you're saying there's blood on 2 shirts.
There's 2 shirts that's got blood on. Okay.
And then, Randy, even though it's brought you this attention, would you say that you're glad that they're looking so closely?
You better believe it. You better believe it. You better believe it. If they weren't, they wouldn't be doing their job. Okay, so. By them doing this, it tells me that they're being diligent and doing their job on any tiny little whatever comes across is being looked at. And it should be. So that's great.
Do you have a photo of that Chihuahua? I know I keep a lot of photos of my dog.
No. My wife would have, but I don't have one. But but it's just a little.
That was that dog was her. That dog was a very precious animal to her.
Yeah, it was very,
What's his or her name?
Huh? Kilo.
Kilo.
Can you get your wife to email us a picture of the dog?
Well, we'll see.
Did you guys talk about anything else with the investigators other than the shirt and the dog today?
We'll see.
Not really. We've been just sitting there waiting for you guys to show up. So.
And I know, Brandon, you've talked with investigators several times. You continue to do that clearly. How many times would you say you've talked with them?
Yeah. I've only had one. Formal interview that was early in an early stage of the game, but and they call me periodically, and I call them periodically because I think of certain things that I want to make sure that they're looking into. I even called them today, and I was like, "You need to look into this avenue. You need to look at this," and in 90% of the cases, they've already done it. So, but it's, you know, I sit and I think about catching this person, and I think I just role play in my mind any possible leads that I can give. But in 90% of the times that I've reached out to them to provide them this information, they've already gone down the avenue.
And I know when we talked with you last, you had said that you believe she had walked in on a burglary.
I need to clarify that. When I came up here to review, now you got to remember, that was on Tuesday or Monday when I gave that statement?
I want to say it was Tuesday.
Okay. You got to remember, no sleep. I'm in bad health. No, I do not believe that she was. I believe that she was targeted. Okay, that's my opinion. That's not any information that anybody provided me, but I believe she was targeted.
For what reason? Yeah, for why?
Evidence, for reasons of evidence, I'm not going to say that. But there's no reason. If a person, you have to ask yourself, if a person's going to break into a church, what are they going to take? What are they there to steal? AV equipment? I work in a church. Some of the most expensive equipment in a church is AV equipment, or money from tithings from.
Thoughts from watching this? Now you got to remember, this is at the start. This is like 10 days after, right? This is literally like 10 days after. What are your thoughts? Now, I see a lot of people saying that father-in-law is kind of aggressive, has an attitude. It's like, dude, your daughter-in-law just died, and you guys are sitting there. He's holding like the biggest smile. I don't know. Maybe we just pick at things, but there's just a few things I find awkward in there.
On the previous day. Okay, those are the two things.
So we're listening to ask Brandon Bevers in the checkered shirt and his dad next to him, Randy Bevers, and the whole reason they're at Midlothian.
And that too. Hold up, I got more. Where that come from? Hold up, 1 second. Oh yeah, here we go. This is part of what I recorded on one of these things. Watch this.
So what do we make of this guy's gate?
This is one of the guys that's in the search. This is one of the guys that's in the binder, in the search warrants. This guy right here, Bobby Wayne.
More similar than Randy's, but yeah, it's weird. So this guy was also a security guard for the church.
Oops.
After the incident.
My bad. Let me go back.
Randy's, but yeah, it's weird. So this guy was also a security guard for the church after the incident. Huh. Other people also commenting he does not appear to be 6'1" in the video in this parking lot. And how much does he hunch over, which would make him look a lot shorter than 6'1", even if he was.
Kind of wild, right? Hold up. I got now. Let's go ahead. That clip right there. Let's go ahead and do this, right? Let's go to here. Let's go to here. Let's go to here.
Reading and reviewing it all.
Now, this is by Mindshock. Shout out to Mindshock. He did a wonderful job on it. All credits to Mindshock on this. You will be hearing about him in my hold on. What the hell is going on here? That was weird, but anyways,
So let's we briefly touched upon the other POI. Basically, there's two main POIs. The father-in-law, Randy, and this other guy, Bobby Wayne Henry. Security guard, former cop, former military, happens to have the same type of limp. The problem is he's supposedly too tall. And supposedly there might have been an alibi. So it obviously on video you can do certain things to make yourself look taller, platform shoes, whatever, or whatever, helmets. But to make yourself look shorter is that's a little bit more problematic.
You say he sus, bro.
So let's look at this post here. Also, Unresolved Mysteries, new SUV for POI cited in the Missy Bevers case. Also, this was 4 years ago. So this is a podcast by Gumshoe Stories. They mentioned this, as well as search warrants, court documents. So Bobby Wayne Henry, former cop, former military, at least 2 women have accused him with rape allegations. He was charged for possession of child pornography as well. According to the podcast, he is full of tall tales.
We think this guy fits the walk?
Shot a friend in the knee in a hunting accident, requiring the friend to have his legs shortened 4 inches and ending the friend's military career. He made harassing phone calls to alleged rape victims. He is listed in the probable cause on the search warrant. He has a small, dark SUV. The search warrant states that he worked and attended church with Missy and her family. Although investigation has revealed this is questionable, even though on the search warrant. Bobby Wayne Henry has a similar date to the person on the surveillance video. He worked security for Missy's memorial service.
That's a good question about the height.
Yeah, I mean that would be really coincidental.
Okay, and for instance, the video that we're watching a guy on again in the big binder that I just showed you guys before, 21 and 22, Bobby Wayne Henry's residence and Bobby Wayne Henry's vehicle, FBI. Now, this is the same guy that we're watching this video on right now, by the way.
But I don't know. It's kind of weird. According to the Gumshoe Stories podcast, episode 1, and documents for probable cause for the search warrant, a top forensic podiatrist that law enforcement brought in could clear everyone in Missy's life except Bobby Wayne Henry. He was the only suspect or person of interest that was not eliminated via gate. So they eliminated, or maybe they never tried to eliminate Randy, but according to this, basically everybody was eliminated. I don't know. According to his mugshot info, he's 6'1". And supposedly the height range is 5'2" to 5'8", given by law enforcement. So
Nick, if you just came in, we went through the Idaho 4, we had some conversation about that, watched a video or two on that. We went through Jennifer Mendes, just what's going on. I watched a video to dive in a little bit on that. I still got to look up more information on that case. Missy Bevers. And also there's 4 escaped inmates, one that was charged with murder from a jail. It was in Bibb County, Georgia. So in Bibb County, Georgia, there's 4 inmates on the run, one charged with murder. They got picked up at this gate. So if you're just coming in, that's the catch up on what we've been talking about during the live.
I mean, 6'1", I mean, that's a bit off of 5'7", 5'8". And then if he's 6'1" plus the helmet, I mean, I don't know. The height has been revised several times by law enforcement. Missy Bevers' husband said he was told the suspect was a 6-foot tall male initially, which is weird because then they switched to not sure if male or female and a bigger range. So what do we make of this guy's gait? I don't know. It might be a little bit more similar than Randy's, but yeah, it's weird. So this guy was also a security guard for the church after the incident. Huh. Other people also commenting he does not appear to be 6'1" in the video in this parking lot. And
yeah, that's true.
How much does he hunch over, which would make him look a lot shorter than 6'1", even if he was? An interesting post here. He's been a POI. Some have said he may have been cleared, but I am sure he did it.
Huh.
As I have said, I followed the case since the day it happened, spent straight up nights reading and reviewing it all. I have been in contact with a few people from Midlothian. They were the first ones to tell me of Henry and the feeling that he did it. The cops already had him circled in the case, but didn't really release a lot of info to the public, obviously. There's numerous things they have not released, mostly of the actual attack. They also told me about Henry's SUV when everyone else was focused on the car that was circling the parking lot of a nearby store. Then I found this video when I was Googling and going through every article I could find, and after I seen Mr. Henry's mugshot, I realized that it was him. And there is definitely a reason they released it to the public like this. They want someone to have an aha moment and recall something that might have seemed odd or the like from the night and morning of Missy's murder. Another post here. I thought it was odd they focused so much on that silver car. It was probably someone who was lost and stopped to look at their GPS or made a phone call or something. It's just an unfortunate event that happened nearby. I find it very weird that her husband and father-in-law just happened to be both conveniently out of town the night before she was killed. And both managed to make it home right around or on the day she was killed. So them being innocent, even if they didn't directly kill her, is still suspicious.
Yeah, he's not.
So apparently, some people are saying there's at least 3 women who he sexually assaulted. And he allegedly sexually assaulted at least one in police uniform brandishing a gun. Huh. Other posters are saying here not only was he a cop, but he was actually a SWAT team member.
Oh, shit. A SWAT team
Some astute
member?
posters here are saying that his 6'1" height was before whatever injury he had, the lanky leg. So his current posture, and because of his leg, he would be a bit shorter than 6'1". I mean, I don't know how much shorter though, but especially with that helmet on. And if
Also, a lot of people have speculated, and this has been some highly speculation on a prosthetic leg.
there was some kind of distortion in the security video, I mean, it is, and from being mounted up high, I mean, how accurate is the height? Because originally they had a pretty big range. Was it 5'2" to 5'8" or something like that? And then they're kind of sticking with 5'8"-ish. I don't know. I mean, you would think they would have accounted for any possible distortion in the angle of the cameras, but I don't know. Here's another interesting post. It's not just the lanky leg. The affidavit for probable cause to the Midlothian Police Department, secured to get a search warrant on Bobby Wayne Henry, lists several reasons why he was suspected. He had a hat with a light on it, like was in the video, had the SWAT-style clothing.
Well, Mandy, they're saying that he's been accused of all these different things. I don't know if he's done it or not, but maybe traction. I don't know. I'm not saying he is involved or not involved. I'm just saying the general possibilities. Allegedly.
Had a dark SUV that, like the one seen leaving the church that morning, which only recently came out thanks to the FOIA. He had allegedly accosted women while in uniform and brandishing a gun. The court documents have a gun listed as found at the scene. Granted, it could have been a gun Missy armed herself with and not the perps, or it could be a plant. Although, supposedly she left her gun in the truck, so it would not have been her gun. Bobby Wayne Henry's alibi is not solid. Claims he was home that night. Then somehow worked security for her funeral. Her father-in-law was, and several other men were surveilled by law enforcement, and the videos were looked over by a forensic pathologist podiatrist, and the only man with a janky leg he could not rule out as being the perp is Bobby Wayne Henry. They only have a partial DNA that is allegedly a mixed sample. It is not known where it was retrieved from, or if it is even the perp's. I was hoping they had a better DNA case because without a confession, it would be hard to convict anyone solely on that church surveillance video. I hope there are some ballistic evidence or fibers. Otherwise, I don't have a lot of faith this case will ever be closed.
Yeah, it's a crazy case. It really is. A heartbreaking case. And then this is the one we had up earlier. This one we had up earlier right here. There we go. Yep, this is the one people need to stay on this case. I know it could be solved. It could definitely be solved. Now this person, I'm telling you, this person and her boyfriend came up. Names came up in this case. We went over this earlier. I don't know. Does her gait fit more than last dude? Damn, you even caught her in the exact same stance. Boom. Yeah, let's go ahead and pause that. Exact same stance. He said exact. It is the exact same stance. Damn near. For real, I do see a limp. Trust me, I know this April. Close. I think so. Do you have a motion video of her walking? Absolutely not. That's a great question. And definitely would love to see that also. And there there might be that out there. We might be able to find some of that. We might be able to find some of that. But I don't know. Boom. That chick's stance looks the same too. You said that chick's stance looks the same too. Close. Her feet are wide apart. Walking video would help. Yeah, definitely would help. The shoes look very similar. He does have a few red flags on him. We'll get to it though. Well, we've been on for 3 hours, 20 minutes. I'll be on I'll be on again tomorrow. So I'll see you guys tomorrow when I wake up. I appreciate everybody that came by. I love you all. We'll be covering multiple different cases. You never know. You know how it is. If you kind of like the flow of this one, let me know. So put it in the comments after I end this video. Let me know if you like the flow of how we switch up and talk about a few different cases at once. But again, thank you guys for coming by. I do appreciate you all. Love you. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I will be talking to you and seeing you guys tomorrow. Let me remove that. Shout out to everybody that showed love, though. I appreciate that. Love, light. Love and light. Love and light, baby. And then it goes like this.
I count my blessings for the days when I was losing faith, making me patient. All I can say is I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made. I count my blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you. It wouldn't be the same with none of y'all by my side. You hold me down,
and look forward to doing these lives. A lot of y'all really came and opened up my eyes, and I hope I gave it back because it comes with yours. No matter what they say, I know I opened up them doors. I brought a family together even though shit was rough. They tried to shut us down, but we really shut them up. No matter what, we stand together when shit gets tough. I wanna thank everyone for showing me love. The Rev Gang family is something I cherish and love, and I'll smack anyone for fucking with us.
Blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you.
No one to give a voice to the voiceless. People get killed for other stupid choices. Standing up for the families that took a loss is something that we find important. Rap game strong, chest up. Little homie, keep your head up. You can be whatever you want. Get rid of the fake and it will add up. All my life I strive for greatness. I'm manifesting my time with patience. People try to copy us, but respect is earned. It's not an obligation. I love the fam and they love me back, and that's why I always have the backs. I give a voice to those people who were never given a chance for them slimy cats. When you come here, you ain't a number to me. I really take time to read what I see. Don't forget to lock your doors, cause there's danger all up in these streets. Y'all really put life into the air that I breathe. I really am thankful for all of my peeps. Your loyalty means a lot to me, so this is a special thank you from me.
Blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you. Thank you.
One more time now. Turn it up. Put some love and light in the world for being hateful.
I count my blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you.
It wouldn't be the same with none of y'all by my side. You hold me down every day and it makes me strive. I wake up and look forward to doing these lives. A lot of y'all really came and opened up my eyes, and I hope I gave it back because it comes with yours. No matter what they say, I know I opened up them doors. I brought a family together even though shit was rough. They tried to shut us down, but we really shut them up. No matter what, we stand together when shit gets tough. I wanna thank everyone for showing me love. The Rev Gang family is something I cherish and love, and I'll smack anyone for fucking with us.
Blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you.
No one to give a voice to the voiceless. People get killed for other stupid choices. Standing up for the families that took a loss is something that we find important. Rap game strong, chest up. Little homie, keep your head up. You can be whatever you want. Get rid of the fake and it will add up. All my life I strive for greatness. I'm manifesting my time with patience. People try to copy us, but respect is earned. It's not an obligation. I love the fam and they love me back, and that's why I always have the backs. I give a voice to those people who were never given a chance for them slimy cats. When you come here, you ain't a number to me. I really take time to read what I see. Don't forget to lock your doors, cause there's danger all up in these streets. Y'all really put life into the air that I breathe. I really am thankful for all of my peeps. Your loyalty means a lot to me, so this is a special thank you from me.
Blessings for